Titterpigs, oh yeah. They're gonna talk about sweet, sweet RPGs. And it's the Titterpigs, the RPG podcast. Am I getting paid for this one?
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 26 of Titterpigs. Oh my God, Scott, can you believe it? 26 episodes.
You tell me that every time, and to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what number we're on, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it. I believe I have faith that you are the one, correctly keeping track of these episodes.
I'm keeping track.
Okay.
It's a thing I do. I have to.
Yeah. I mean, we've been delayed a little bit in getting episodes out. We were on such a good roll. We had a couple, in the can. And then unfortunately,
life sucks, bro.
I know. And for those who are waiting for it, I just want to throw this out before we roll into what's new with us is we were supposed to have Robert Schwab on, which we've been, advertising, for quite some time now. But unfortunately, Robert had a family emergency that he had to, address, and these things happen, of course. So hopefully sometime in the near future, we will have Robert back on for everyone's enjoyment, because I know that was something I was looking forward to. So apologies for those who are anticipating that, but it will be coming soon. But we have some other things lined up to squeeze in between then and when we can get Robert back on. So
true story.
Yes. So what's new with Titterpigs? It's been almost a month since we've dropped our last episode, and I know you and I have been busy, not just with gaming stuff, but with real life. But no one cares about what the fuck happens to us. No. So what's new with Keith? What has Keith been up to since we last had our last episode?
So I've been neck deep in editing in my freelance business. So that has put the kibosh on a lot of my gaming.
Right.
So for those that were following, I was running Iconoclast, the Delta Green Iconoclast for you and Bud and Roz and Griff, and we were having a great time, and I had to put it on hiatus because priorities. So yeah. How do you feel about it?
Oh, no. I mean, I understand. I'm okay. But out of everyone involved, Roz, Griff, myself, Bud took it well. And he essentially said, Keith, don't worry about it. Life happens. We'll be here when you are ready. At least, is that how it went?
No, that's not how it went. Love you, Bud. But no, that's not quite how it went. But he took it better than I thought he was going to. So hopefully we're going to get back to it soon.
Yes.
I've got some deadlines I've got to meet. So once those are done and this editing is done for this project, and if I don't pick up anything else in the meantime, which it looks like I might,
okay,
we'll get back to the game. Hell or high water, we'll get back to it. It's just a matter of when.
Right.
The only other new thing for me is I've been picking up some older Twilight 2000 second edition stuff. A couple of source books and a couple of scenarios,
right?
That I intend to read, review on the blog, and then hopefully put them to use in a game at some point down the road. At least cherry pick for some ideas, anyways.
Right. Did you end up picking up a copy of the most recent edition supplement that came out? I know
the Urban Operations.
I think so. Or wasn't there a third one? Because I know that
no.
there was.
So yes and no. So there is the core set, the new 4th edition Twilight 2000 core set from the Kickstarter. There was, I think it's Black Madonna, and somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on the name, which was not from Cult. Not the Cult scenario, but it's a scenario for Twilight 2000 that was part of the Kickstarter, that the writer that was redoing it had, I guess, some medical emergencies themselves and has not been able to finish writing it. So I know it's been kind of sidelined and has not been developed or finished yet.
Okay.
And then Urban Operations was a thin box set that was not Kickstarted. It was a pre-order that I pre-ordered earlier this year. I think back in January, February, and I got it, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. It arrived. It's a thin box, about half the size of a Free League normal box.
Right.
But it's chock full of stuff.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I saw some people posting pictures of it or the PDF, one of the two. It's just, it's in this current circle of buzz going on as, so what's, been dropped as of late in the
it's actually
RPG world.
Really, really cool because it takes the game and brings it into an urban centric environment. So if you want to play the game in say Krakow or Berlin, and you want to have an operation set inside of a city and be more city centric or urban centric, it has rules specific to doing just that.
Cool. And if you throw zombies in, you don't need to get the new Walking Dead game.
Well, then there's that option too. So that's what I've been up to. Some older Twilight 2000 stuff, and then neck deep in editing. Cool.
What
about you?
So I mean, a few things, but probably the major focus is last weekend I spent my time at Strategicon, the local con out here in the Los Angeles area that drops 3 times a year during the usual 3-day holidays of like Memorial Day and Veterans Day and whatnot. And the big thing about this one is this is the first one that I actually went to solo without my son and some of my son's friends, which, I did miss having them there, but it was a different experience altogether, primarily financial wise. I didn't have to spend $150 on a crappy hamburger, 2 times a day because, they are, living endless pits of hunger when it comes to stuff like that. So why
nice. Why didn't the boy go with you?
Because it's finals week. So he's in high school now, and this was the last weekend before finals, and he needed to knuckle down and study. And as much as I would have loved to have them there, and as much as they would have loved to have been there, it's being a responsible parent, even though I'm not 100%. Right. But this was the one. I mean, I have no problem taking them out of school early, skipping a Friday to go to the con. But this weekend was absolutely necessary for them to study. So I just for a good 4 or 5 weeks, I softened my wife up with, compliments and gifts and being helpful and whatnot. And then kind of like, when she was at her weakest, just like, hey, by the way, could I go to Strategicon alone? Oh, sure. Have fun. Nice. So it was nice. And I went for the full 3 days too, which is something that I don't usually do. We usually just go for 2 days, but anyways, so it was different. I was on my own schedule, just doing my own thing. And I ran 2 games while I was there. I ran Dragonbane on Friday, which was a lot of fun. For those who aren't familiar, Dragonbane is Free League's fantasy entry into, I wouldn't really call it a direct competition for Dungeons and Dragons, but it's definitely an alternative, especially after the whole OGL thing. And then also I ran Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth, which
how did that one go?
Well, to be perfectly honest, so yes, both all of the highlights of my trip to Strategicon, I will be going over in detail. I'm going to do a recap video on my YouTube channel.
All right, then don't spoil it here. Listeners can go check out your YouTube channel for
please
for all
do.
the juicy bits.
But in a nutshell, I'll say it went well. It was fun, but both myself and the players, we have notes, so to speak. We had a little chat afterwards to go over things we liked and things that we felt I wouldn't say didn't like, but we felt that made it different than your standard DCC game. So check out that. Hopefully that'll be dropping sometime soon this week. But and then played in a game of Dungeon Caster, which is the rule set for another game called Highcaster, which is done. The author's name is Christopher Gray. He's a local author. I believe he lives somewhere around LA. And for those who may not be familiar with that, I think the only one I can think of that you may be familiar with is he did I think it was the American Witches game.
Yeah, I backed that project. I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. Okay. So it was
He's
fun.
Done, he has a take on a PBTA game that's a take on Disney.
Okay.
Like The Scariest Place on Earth or something like that.
Okay.
It's like a dark version of Disney.
Oh.
Yeah. There's that, The American Witch, the Great American Novel.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got an Indiana Jones type one that uses 3 Leagues Year Zero engine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
He kickstarted that through Alan Barr's company.
Gallant Knight. Gallant Knight. Yes, because he was there with them. Gallant Knight and Christopher Gray, Alan Barr was there at the con. They were sharing a table with the Happy Jacks podcast. So Happy Jacks had a podcast there. I believe both of them have run games on their YouTube channel. Nice. But so anyways, and then that one was good too. I mean, obviously I'll highlight it again on my YouTube channel, but it was an interesting take. In a nutshell, it's a story-driven game. It's loosely based on another Powered by the Apocalypse type rule system with some changes to it. The interesting thing I really liked about it is unlike other storyteller games, it seemed to be self-contained. Like, some people may disagree with me, but like Dungeon World, right? Dungeon World, a lot of people love it, but you wouldn't really pick up Dungeon World and say, hey, we're going to run, Temple of Elemental Evil with it. Because you just really couldn't. I mean, you could. But
that'd be a lot of heavy lifting to make it happen.
Right. So what this one does is this one kind of gives you some tools on how to do that, which was interesting. So we did play through a good portion of the Temple of Elemental Evil using Dungeon Caster. And it was good fun. And I think it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, granted, you're not going to be doing some heavy lifting per se, because in the Highcaster book, he gives you tools on how to use his game with other more traditional, what he calls tactical RPGs, which is great. But yeah, I mean, you're still going to be, it's still storytelling. So you're still going to be kind of hand waving through a lot of that, but it's not going to be an unwieldy mess as you're just, trying to do a storytelling game in a tactical dungeon type setting. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Interesting. I am honestly intrigued.
Yeah. So we'll be looking forward to that. And I as I tend to do, I gave him one of our cards and I said, hey, if you're free and available in the near future, if you'd like to be on the podcast, just let us know. So maybe that might come. We'll see.
Fantabulous.
But that's about it. So enough about us. I mean, why is it that we're really here today?
Hold on. Let me check my Rolodex. Hold on. Wow, we even got sound effects out.
Oh boy.
No, so this episode, our main feature for this episode is we're venturing back into another actual play.
Mm-hmm.
We have I'm going to butcher his name, and Scott will correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin Borrup.
Kevin Borrup or Borrup, but yeah, good enough.
Right, Kevin will correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He also goes by the online handle or persona Saltheart.
Yes.
RPG.
Yes.
And he is going to run us through his game of Burn 2D6 that he kickstarted several months ago. That is projected to deliver at least a PDF to backers this month. In fact, June of 2023. By the end of the month, I believe, is his projected date to deliver the PDF.
Right.
And then shortly thereafter, within I think a month or two, the physical books after we get some proofs done.
Right. And then likewise, shortly after it drops for the backers, it will become available on DriveThruRPG, both the PDF and I believe he said in the actual play that print on demand too.
Yes.
So,
yes, he did say that. So
yes.
If you haven't gathered from Scott's comments, I'll reiterate them. The actual play has already been recorded and we are doing this intro bit after the fact. So I hope you guys enjoy the actual play that we recorded previously with Kevin and Scott and I and our friend Roz. who's a longtime listener of the show and friend of ours.
Yes.
And we had a blast with it. Kevin does a fantastic job explaining the system, the rules, the highs, the lows. I mean, just everything about it. It was a fantastic game experience. It went a little longer than we had planned, but I think the role playing, the story, I think all of that made up for it. And
Right.
It was a fantastic game.
Yeah. I think you were like, I went into it already knowing quite a bit about it. I had done an interview with Kevin on the YouTube channel prior and backed the game. So I had been reading about it, but I think you came in relatively new. And from, this is my impression of you, but it seemed like that you had a good time and you were very happily impressed with it. So
I was quite impressed with it. And Kevin does a great job of when I ask questions about the rules, he was like Johnny on the spot with an easy to understand explanation, which I think listeners are going to really appreciate. And it just helped immerse me into the rules and into the story. And it was just great fun.
Right.
So,
well, without further ado, let's go ahead and head into our actual play. But before that, let's have a quick word from our sponsor.
Hey listeners, Keith here. Just a quick reminder about our Patreon. You can subscribe to us at patreon.com/Titterpigs. And now for a few shout outs to our supporters. We have Lupus Malum, William Payne, Dwayne Costa, Bud's RPG Review, Jason Sheets, and Dr. Mitch. Thank you everybody for your support.
All right, here we are. We are back with another actual play, and we are here with Kevin Borrup, who is the author of the successful Kickstarter campaign for his game Burn 2D6. I had the honor and the privilege of interviewing Kevin a few months ago when his game was still in the stages of Kickstarter, and I hope that helped, bring forth the success of the game. And so what I suggested to Keith a while back was let's have Kevin on. It's a great game, and it does propose a lot of good ideas. And I think it'd be fun if we had, Keith and a friend of the show on to have Kevin, run us through one of his games and share that, with our listeners to, interest them in the aspects of Burn 2D6 and what it provides. So, Kevin, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks very much for having me. I appreciate the chance to really run the game for you all. It's it's a wonderful rules light game, and from the moment we start, we should be done within 2 hours from start to finish. And to start the game, you've all already chosen character types and assigned names and your stats. And the game is called Burn 2D6 because the conceit behind it, or the one main mechanic, is burn. So every time you roll, where you have to roll to accomplish something, you're going to roll a minimum of 2D6. That's the minimum difficulty, but it could be more. It could be as much as 5D6 or 6D6. Once, essentially you tell me what you want to do, and I say, well, that's going to require a roll. We'll determine what stat, either move, heart, eyes, or soul, and then I'll let you know the difficulty. And then at that point, you can calculate the odds in your head and go, if I roll, let's say 5D6, can I roll under my stat value? And it might be hard. If you have a stat of 4 and you're rolling 5D6, you're not going to do it, right? So you can burn, and when you burn, you add a point to the column on your sheet next to your stat for a burn, and you remove a D6 from the roll. And you can remove as many D6s as you want. And then you make your roll, 5D6 roll. You might decide it's really important, so you take 4 burn, and then you're rolling a D6. And that's really the whole conceit of the game and how it runs. Now, the other thing you have at your disposal, you'll notice on your character sheets, there's something called Surge. You start with Surge that's active. You can also at any time use Surge to reduce difficulty by a d6. The other way that you can use Surge is if we're in the middle of the game and let's say we go down into the sewers and it's pitch black and you have no lights. Roz might say, wait a minute, I do have a flashlight. And Roz can actually spend a Surge so that she does indeed have a flashlight in the dark. So that's another way you can use Surge, is to change something, not a huge thing, but something small about the game, an availability of objects, items, or maybe that chandelier is in the right place for you to fly off it, or whatever you want to swing off it. So those are the main mechanics. You also have equipment, and your equipment, when you find that you can use it for an action, you'll tell me how, and then you'll be able to add the bonus associated with that equipment to the roll under number. So if you have a 5 in a stat, but you have a bonus of 1 for some applicable piece of equipment, then you're trying to roll under 6. So, but that's really it. And then the game itself, I know ahead of time, you let me know you want to play in the pulp era, which is the 1920s, 1930s US scenario. We'll be playing in Harbor City, which is the pulp era setting for this. And while we took a quick break before we started this session, I quickly rolled for the random adventure seeds, getting the where, what, and who of this adventure. So I won't tell you what that is. And at the end, I'll reveal to you what actually those things were. And so none of it's planned. And the idea behind this whole game system is that any of you could get to a group and say, well, we have an hour and a half, 2 hours to kill. Let's play. And you can roll up a quick adventure seeds and go from there in building the adventure out and getting to a conclusion within that within that time period without burning yourself out. So the important thing to know is that if your burn ever equals your stat value, that stat is burned. You can't take any more burn to that stat. And now you have an added D6 difficulty to everything you do. All right. Now, once you burn the second stat, meaning you have burn equal to the value of the second stat, that's it for you. You're done.
That's good to know, because
you're done. And so that's your balance, right? As you go about doing things, figuring out, do I want to really burn here or not? And it's that kind of tension throughout the game to weigh that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it plays well in the aesthetic, because other games which has that kind of burn quality, a lot of times they will just pool it till the end because they feel there's a culmination or a big bad guy they just save it for. But from the sound of it, since this is just evolving as we go, we don't know when it might be a good time to burn those extra stats for a particular role. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Okay.
Now,
so just so I'm clear, this game doesn't benefit me or players to turtle those points. Like, burn when we feel we need to burn, and the hell with it. If it hurts us later, so be it, because it may not necessarily help us out down the road.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And there is, if we were playing multiple sessions, because this is designed around campaign play, the amount you burn is directly related to the kind of experience there is in this game called build points. So for every 3 burn essentially on your character sheet, you get 1 build point. And those build points can then be used to improve your stats, to improve your equipment, to get new equipment, all of that. So you do want to burn. And there is if you're playing campaign, there is an incentive to ensure you're burning. Right, exactly. There's this balance in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, before we get started, I did want to quickly, I don't play with the three of you very often, so I did want to address the issue of safety tools. Okay. And, this is the pulp era. This is the 1920s, 1930s. It's kind of an occult setting. So there can be ghosts. There can be potentially things like vampires. There can be spies and evildoers. And, but there are no harm to children within the games that I play. And there is absolutely no sexual violence or anything like that in my games. If there are any things that you don't want to see in the game, knowing the period, let me know. And we can make sure that doesn't come about. The whole point is to have fun, and no one should have to feel, that they're not having fun because of whatever subject matter or characters are raised in the game.
I would like to add that when we're in conversation with us or NPCs, that not everybody ends what they're saying with "see," but that's just me. See, yeah.
Oh, Scott's gonna get tropey there. See,
the
right,
listeners
see?
are laughing. The listeners are laughing. Screw all of you.
I'm good. I don't have anything to add to the don'ts.
No, I mean, obviously, if something comes up in game, we can always, either, do the typical, someone can raise their hand, or we could just pause it and get back to it. So, yeah, but for now, there's nothing off the top of my head that I can think of. So,
yeah. And if something does come back, the way I usually handle it, if someone can raise their hand and then you tell me what happens next.
Okay.
And where do you want to bring the game and add to the narrative away from whatever it is that isn't, yeah.
Perfect. All right.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
Okay. Well, you all went to school together. The class of 1916. It's right now. It's the year 1922, 1923 in Harbor City. Prohibition is in full swing. As a result of that, there's quite a bit of under mob activity. And speakeasies are everywhere in this city. Under every bookstore, it seems, and behind every bank, there seems to be a speakeasy. But this is a celebratory night. The class of 1916 is celebrating their 6-year reunion, and you're all getting together at the Continental Hotel. And so it's great because, all of you are looking forward to seeing each other. Maybe you see each other often, maybe you don't. You're all still in the city. Why don't you introduce your characters as they enter the Continental Hotel for the reunion of the class of 1916? And I guess, Scott, do you want to lead it off?
Sure. So my name is Sam Trowell, and I am currently a private eye, public or private investigator. Not my job of choice, considering that I was voted, most likely to succeed when we graduated, but that may not be the case. I've spent many years, working odd jobs and doing this and that, and found I had a bit of a skill when it comes to being a private investigator. But as of late, most of the jobs have just been, just ridiculous. The typical, finding someone who's cheating on you, doing, essentially my lost cat. Nothing exciting, and it just feels like I've been doing nothing but drowning my sorrows in illegal rot guts. So, but I am here to put on a good face and show all these people that I am someone. And they're not better than me. I'm still the guy I was, just maybe a little bit larger around the waist due to the rot gut I enjoy a bit too much.
All right. Great to hear about Sam Trowell. Well, Oh, Roz, how about you? You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yeah, I'm Ramona Winslow, and I work for the telephone company for Ma Bell for y'all. That's what we say at the off. Yeah. But anyway, I wear cat eye glasses, and I decided tonight that I was going to wear the same dress I wore to prom, just so folks know, still have it. And I know a lot of people think that we operators listen to phone conversations. We don't. Okay.
Oh God, I see how this game's gonna go.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I guess that leaves me.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, I am playing Peter Kaufman. I am the
Nerd.
class of 1916 class nerd. I was voted most likely to be the most successful college professor. Well, that didn't pan out much. I became a librarian, and I'm very good at it.
Oh, that's great. We've got quite a crew that walks into the Continental Hotel, and you make your way each individually, and you all kind of get to the entrance to the ballroom from different routes, but at the same time, you find yourselves standing together with a mini reunion just before you enter the ballroom, where you can see the festivities in full swing. There's a big band playing some great tunes up front. A singer is about to get up and take the stage, and you see your class was about 200 folks, and it looks like 200 plus have shown up. Both your classmates and their significant others and whatever are all in there. You're not the last to arrive, but you're definitely towards the tail end, and this party is in full swing.
Awesome.
Peter just looks around like, I wish I had a significant other. Yeah, that would have been nice. Wonder what that feels like.
Oh. Is that you, Petey? Petey the Kaufman? Always coughed when we pulled your underwear up out of the back of your pants?
Hey, don't talk like that. We don't need to tell everybody about that.
Oh, nah, that's in
Sam.
the past. That's in the yes.
Sam, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, obviously.
What are you doing with yourself these days, Sam?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm a private investigator. I do big cases for big companies, and currently right now I'm kind of in the process of getting another big case. I've been busy. Do you? I mean, I know it's during Prohibition, but I mean, do you know if there's an open bar in the back?
I wouldn't know anything about that. You said big cases?
Yeah, big cases, big cases.
Like what kind of big cases? Like,
oh, you know what? Is that Ramona Winslow over there?
Hold on. Like big cases. Like my grandma's cat's gone missing.
Oh, hey, Ramona. You look as wonderful as the day that you went to prom.
I thank you, Sam. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, and look, it's little Petey.
Hi, Ramona. Hi.
Did you graduate with us? Because I do not remember you.
I did. I was in the back of the class.
Wait. Here, Ramona, hold on a second. Petey, turn around for a moment.
No, Sam.
Oh, now and okay, and cough. You might remember him. You might remember him now.
Oh yeah.
And then just at this moment, as you're talking in the ballroom, your attention is drawn to a couple loudly arguing. You see a tall man, blonde hair, very good looking, and you definitely recognize them, all three of you, because you live in Harbor City. That is your classmate John Whitaker, who's currently running for mayor of Harbor City. The election's still a few months away, but he is in high gear. And the woman that he's arguing with is at least a head or two shorter than him. She seems to be yelling at him about something, asking, "Where is she? Where is she?" And he grabs her arm. You can see he twists it, and he says, "You keep quiet about that. Be quiet. You don't make a scene here." And she starts yelling at him, "Let go of me." And he's holding on to her arm.
Peter's gonna do what Peter does best. Pete's gonna just walk across over to John. Not that John's gonna remember Peter or anybody, and he's gonna be like, "Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna need you to take your hands off the lady. You're being rude. That's not appropriate. I'll have to call the authorities."
And and John, still holding on to the woman's arm, looks at you and goes, "Peter Kaufman, I remember you."
Yes, that's me. But take your hands off the lady.
Run along now. Run along, so we don't have to embarrass you. You're embarrassing yourself, Peter. You're embarrassing yourself.
I'm not embarrassing myself, and I push up my glasses. You, sir, are embarrassing yourself, being rude and disrespectful to this woman in public.
Yeah. And do you want to achieve anything, Peter, from this conversation with John? What do you hope to achieve?
I want to draw attention to him.
Okay.
I do.
All right, great.
Because I know who he is. I've seen the flyers, the adverts, the things in the newspapers, and any radio adverts of his campaign and things of that nature. But I don't think I like him too much from 1916.
Yeah.
And the preceding years, and I really don't like him for this show of disrespect for this woman. I don't care who she is.
So, Peter, one thing you've set up is that you're this person who flies under the radar. You're this person who people don't notice, and in this moment, you're really channeling it to be courageous in trying to do this. And we're going to give you a simple, I think, a heart roll for this to try to raise that attention, to to provoke and him with your words, to kind of get people around you to pay attention. So that is going to be not a hard roll, though. I mean, it's kind of loud in there. It's kind of loud, and so that to get the group coming around, it's going to be a simple 2d6 roll for you. And you have, Peter, a heart of 5. There are no modifiers that I can see from your equipment.
Okay.
So you need to roll 2d6 and get under a 5.
So the total of the 2d6 needs to be under a 5.
That's great. Now you can burn if you want.
I don't know that it's important enough to burn.
Okay.
I failed. I rolled a 5 and a 2 for a 7.
So you got a 7. So you go, whatever you're saying to John, he just totally dismisses you. And worse, not only does he dismiss you, no one in the whole ballroom is taking notice.
Yeah.
The only people who are taking notice of what you're doing are our friends Sam and Ramona.
I'm used
Ramona,
to this. This is my life.
I pull my flask out from my jacket, take a swig, and say, "Ramona, would you hold this for a moment?" And I make my way over to Peter and John, and excuse me, gents, and I'll put my hand on Peter's shoulder. I assume he's shorter than me, and say, "Hey, John, my card. You may not remember me from school, but here." And I hand him my card with my name. I assume I've got one because I'm a guy.
Sure.
And say, just want to kind of give you a heads up, John. It's a bit unbecoming of someone running his mare making a scene like this, and it would be horrible if someone in my position sees this and happens to tell someone in the news, or someone running against you. So why don't you listen to Peter here and take your hand off this woman?
Okay, now, John, it sounds like you want to try to intimidate him into doing this. That's what I'm getting. Now, John, being a politician, although he is sensitive to the things you said, he's a little bit of and you'll find in the pulp era setting, each individual NPC has kind of certain traits, and one trait that John has is that John reduces your target number by 2 when trying to intimidate. So Sam Trowell, you have a heart of 8. Okay. Now the other thing, just so you know, mechanically, if you can tell me how your pistol works into this, you can add the bonus.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think as I'm leaning for, as I take my business card out of my jacket, it's obvious that my pistol shows.
You're packing.
Yeah, that I'm packing, and then I'll make it, kind of, evident.
Sure.
Yeah.
So then your pistol, you add the 1 from your bonus from your pistol for heart, 2 heart, making your 8 and 9, and then you're going to have to subtract the 2, the real from John, to give you a 7 target number on this roll. Now the difficulty on this roll is every NPC also within this group has 2 stats: a burn max, which says how much burn they can take before they're down, right? And they also have a difficulty level. It could be 0d6, 1d6, 2d6, or 3d6. John is a 1d6 opponent. So you're going to roll 2d6 to intimidate, plus 1d6 for him as an NPC. So you're rolling 3d6, and you have to roll under a 7.
Okay, so I'm going to, in this instance, I'm going to burn. I'm gonna burn.
How many?
Oh, I'm gonna burn 1, so that'll give me 2d6, right?
Okay, yeah, 2d6, and you're trying to go under a 7.
Okay, and that is, what is that? This is, sorry, this dice has an image on. I don't know if it's the 6 or the 1. So yeah, so nope, that's gonna be an 11. So no,
an 11. Yeah. So he takes your card and he just lets it drop to the floor, and he looks at you and he looks at Peter and he says, "Listen, Sam, I know your type. Why don't you go back to your bottle and curl up in it? This is between me and her, and she's going to keep her darn mouth shut, and none of you are going to cause a scene." And then we'll pause a moment. Ramona, you're seeing all this go on, and you see your gents, your friends here, having very little success in breaking up this fracas.
Is this woman, was she one of our classmates?
That is a great question. And you know what? You in your role as a secretary, you take a lot of notes. You have a good memory. And without a roll, I think this is routine for you to know who would be in the class, right? So no roll required. And you clearly do not recognize this woman. You clearly do not recognize her as a member of the class of 1916.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Sam's flask, put it in my clutch, go to the punch table, spill some punch on my dress, and then walk over to this lady, because I can always ask a lady to just help me go to the bathroom to do a thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk over to her and ask her if she would please come help me, find some salts water and get this punch out of my dress. That's what I will do.
Yeah, so you're kind of, I think, sowing a little bit of confusion amongst and a little deception amongst our friend John Whitaker and this unidentified woman. So what do you think? Are you doing? And this is where your eyes roll. You're kind of being sly about doing this and very calculating. And I would give it to you as an intelligence roll to kind of perpetrate this upon the both of them. And I think she'll pick up on what you're doing. So Again, I'm going to make this a basic 2d6 roll to sow this confusion among them. But again, John's d6, so it's going to be a 3d6 roll, a straight roll against your eye stat.
Okay.
And he's got no defense against the wiles of a woman in this way.
So I.
Oh, what is your eyes?
It's 8.
It's an
your
8.
eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you've got it. Well, let's see. We'll just change that. There we go.
Right. Yeah, eyes 8.
There we go. Okay. So are you going to burn any?
I believe, yes, I will burn 1.
Okay. So it's a 2d6 roll
2d6.
to get under an 8.
I rolled a 3.
Yes. Of course.
and so what's interesting is you go up with this whole story, and he had continued talking, trying to get Peter and Sam to buzz off. But when you come up, you kind of almost like just kind of push his arm away from her, like, hey, look, you got to help me out. And she pretends like she totally knows you. And she goes, oh, dear, of course I'll help you. And for a moment, he kind of releases her arm, and you're able to get her away from him. And you can go towards the bathroom with her. And meanwhile, Sam and Peter, you're stuck in front of this wonderfully nice classmate of yours, John. But let's go with Roz. And so, Roz, what do you do now that you have this unidentified woman with you?
We are going to find a powder room, and I'm going to ask her, what was that about?
Yeah, and there's a powder room right off the dance hall. There, when you go in there, there's maybe 1 or 2 other ladies in front of the mirror fixing themselves up. And you ask her, what was that about? And she looks at you and kind of confidentially says, well, thank you for that, but I need answers from him. I need answers. She's missing.
Who's missing?
My sister. You might have known her. John and her went steady in school. Lucy? Do you remember Lucy Gaz? My name's Lydia. I'm her little sister.
Do I remember her?
Yeah, of course you do.
Okay.
You remember Lucy Gaz.
Right.
And of course, Lucy and John Whitaker were quite the item when you were in school in the class of 1916. They never did end up getting married.
Yeah. So what happened with them? Because I remember they were like so everybody just thought that they were going to be like right now 3 kids plus big house somewhere. So what happened with them? Did he cheat or something?
And Lydia kind of looks at you and says, well, after school, I don't know what happened. I mean, they just split up after a time, and then John went and married that bimbo.
Well, so how long has Lucy been missing?
She's been missing since last night, and the police won't do anything. She's not the only one who's gone missing, I'll have you know.
Who else? I
don't know. Some down and outs. Maybe some of the circus people. I don't know. But I don't know what happened to my sister. But the other thing you can do, Roz, because you have your notepad, if you wanted to, this history of John and even Lucy, if you wanted to look into that with your notepad, because you do have the notepad of irrelevant facts and and whatever surprising and surprising figures, whatever, you could, if you want to delve into that with more information, you could.
Yeah, I'll do that. I think I might have as I'm not listening on
Yeah.
phone conversations, I might have taken some notes. I don't know.
Right.
Lie to us.
So the way this works with your notepad, you have an E2, you have eyes and A, so your target number becomes a 10. Now, because this is optional, right, and you're just doing it, you get to tell me, it's a 2d6 basic, and you would get basic information. But you can push this roll, essentially. You can magnify the effect. You could tell me, hey, I want to try to find out something about this, but I'm happy with it just basic info at 2d6. Or you could say, you know what? I really think I want to know quite a bit here, and I'm going to push up my magnitude to 3, 4, 5d6. So it really comes to you, and you tell me how far do you want to go with this roll.
I think 10. I'm thinking 3 or 4 days, but I think
that
4 might be
sounds
pushing.
sensible. Yeah. So what do you think? 3 or 4? What do you want to go with?
I'm going to go with 4.
4. Nice.
I'm going to risk it.
Okay. So it's a 4d6 roll against your 10. Do you want to take any burn?
I will take another burn there.
Okay.
To me eyes. Okay, so that's 3 now, right?
Let's see. I don't know. Is that what it is? Is it 3?
I was going to go with 4. Burn 1. Does that bring it down to 3? Or
yeah. So 4. How many? I guess how many burn to eyes have you taken so far?
This would be the second.
Second. All right. So if it's 4d6 and you take 1 burn, it brings it down to 3d6.
Mm-hmm. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Because even if things go wrong, I like it.
3d6 under a 10. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
How do we do?
5, 3, 1. I'm liking it. That's a 9.
So 9. Oh, perfect. So you're right under the cap. So what this really means is I've got to give you 46 worth of information. So the first thing you can confirm is that they of course did break up, and you don't think Lucy as innocent in this whole breakup thing as maybe she seems to appear. You could hear her over the thing that little sister Lucy maybe had a dalliance with John at some point, and that had something to do with it. But in addition to that, Lucy, after school, she went on actually to become a college professor. And in that work, she published many different treatises on that you heard, kind of weird stuff, kind of like old Eastern European mythos was kind of her specialty, and so that, and let's see, anything else? And you have heard also, and you haven't been working too much in the past few days getting ready for this ball, but you did hear that maybe there have been some people who've disappeared over the past week, but no one of consequence.
So, Lydia, do you want to try to sneak out? Because my friend Sam, he is a private detective. Bet you didn't know that, but he is, and I think he could help you. So if you want, we could maybe sneak out of here, or I can help you sneak out, and I'll come back in and I'll get Sam to come out. What do you think?
And Lydia says, well, yeah, maybe that guy Sam, yeah, he could come in.
So yeah, we'll get Sam. Peter, he can come too. He can come too.
Thanks.
Well, you know what though? He's a librarian. He might have known something about some of the stuff. Because I know your sister wrote some books, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She wrote some books, really old like myths and tales or something.
Yeah, I don't
I
read
don't
that
know,
stuff.
know.
That's too much. Like, give me a good detective novel. Yeah, love that. So, do you want to try to, if, let's see, if you sneak out, or do you want to meet somewhere? Would that be better?
Yeah, why don't we meet? I can get out of here. Why don't we meet at the at the Nutmegger?
Okay. When do you want to meet there?
Well, it's just around the corner. It's it's right it's right across the street. Under the library. It's a great little place. I hear they got live music tonight too. So, and you recognize it as a speakeasy that's not too far away. It's also on Juniper Way.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get the fellas and we'll meet you there. Okay?
And you leave, and she leaves with you, but you kind of head straight out, and she kind of hooks a right to skedaddle out of there. And now let's go back to Peter and Sam. So you were, Roz, or not Roz, sorry, Ramona. Ramona and this other unidentified woman just went into the bathroom, and you're left with your friend John.
I wouldn't call him a friend. He wants to pull my underwear up over my head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't take much, brain juice to figure out what Ramona did, right? So we would assume that she, pulled a defensive call to get her out of there. But I for one will bend down and pick up my card, because to be perfectly honest, I think that's the only one I have.
You can't afford to reorder.
So and put it back in, and I'll just I'll give John a dirty look, and again put my hand on Peter and just kind of say, Peter, forget about him. It's Harbor City, and kind of nudge him away, and just unless John does anything.
John puts his hand on you, like to your chest, like with a finger, and he goes, "You," and he pokes you in the chest. "You just mind your own business," like 4 taps in the center of your chest.
Oh,
you, sir, are just rude.
Oh,
you are not going to make a good mayor.
Right. You know what? And I look down at his hand. I go, you know what? That's probably not a good idea that you do that. It hasn't really been a good week for me, and and little Petey here. We should.
My name's Peter, not
right,
Petey.
Right, Peter. This is supposed to be a celebration. It's a reunion. Why don't we just consider the situation to be done, and we'll just go to our separate corners.
I think you heading off into a corner is the right idea. And he turns and he walks like back towards into the crowd where people are dancing. He seems to be heading towards kind of the front where the band is.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So he leaves you and Peter, standing there.
Right.
Half
Pete.
Under my breath, I say, "Loser."
Pete.
And then soon enough, Ramona comes out. You see her coming back out of the ladies' room. The powder room.
Oh, everything copacetic, Ramona. You know what? I was just about to compliment Pete here. Hey, Pete, just want to let you know, you obviously are not the same Petey from high school. That was amazing that you stood up to that jerk. Right. Okay. So Ramona, everything okay with you and that woman?
You guys, you remember Lucy Goss?
Oh yeah.
Remember in back in school,
The cheerleader. The cheerleader.
Yeah, sure. and she was dating John. Well, anyway, she's gone missing. That was Lucy's sister. Her name's Lydia, and she she also did. Do you recall hearing about people going missing? Like there was some circus people going missing, and now Lucy's missing. You, Sam, are a detective. I think you should look into this.
Absolutely. That sounds like a fantastic idea. Did you happen to find out if Lucy's sister, I mean, is a paying client by any means? I mean, not that it matters. It just, it's a little bit short of cash.
If you find Lucy, Peter, do you
Ramona?
have any books in the library? Any of the stuff? Because remember Lucy, big egghead, writing stuff about mythos and I don't know, stuff that you might know about. But do you have any of that stuff in your library that, because she's done that stuff. So even if Lydia doesn't have money, Lucy's got to have money. You find her, she'll pay you. That makes sense, hey?
Yeah, Peter, this is perfect. You can find out the information, and if we find out what happened to this poor woman, and everything works out the way it should, this will be a great 70-30 split, guaranteed.
So, do you feel like drinking punch, or would you like something, I don't know, a bit more tasty?
You know what?
I'd like punch, please.
Yeah.
I punch him.
Cool. Ow.
Yeah, come on, Peter. I think we should celebrate. The fact that you stood up to the guy. I think this calls for something a little bit more celebratory than just plain punch out of a bowl. What do you suggest, Ramona?
Lydia's gonna meet us at the Nutmegger, and I wink.
Fantastic. Hopefully Timothy the bouncer isn't there. Let's go.
You coming, Peter? Peter, you coming?
I don't drink.
You don't have to drink.
Yeah. Let's go, Pete.
Yeah. You can just buy me drinks. You don't have to drink it.
Okay.
All right.
I've never been to a speakeasy.
Oh, don't worry about it. You'll fit right in. I guarantee you.
Will I?
Yes. And I put my arm around his shoulder and say, let's blow this popsicle stand.
Yeah, and so you all walk out of the Continental Hotel, having put in your appearance at the class reunion, and walk, just down the block and across the street. And you know that if you go down the alley between the library and the courthouse, there are stairs, nondescript, that kind of go down to a basement door. And there is a pretty solid iron door. And about up at eye level, there's a little, it looks like a square opening that currently is closed. But you can hear definitely a drum beat behind the door.
And Timothy's back there.
Yeah, hold on. I've got this, and I give the little secret knock on the door.
Yeah, sure. You give the knock on the door, and the little slit opens, and a guy behind the door, a big kind of thick guy, looks out, and he goes, "Huh, Sam?"
Yeah, it's Sam. I'm here with friends. We're here to enjoy the evening.
Sam, we don't want trouble in here. You're not on a job, are you?
Absolutely not. We're just these are some old friends from high school. We're getting reacquainted, and we thought just enjoying a bit of a nightcap. So yeah.
All right. And he closes the thing. So the mechanic behind this is what's routine for a different character, right? So we did one thing with Roz. It was pretty routine. Sam's a PI. Sam gets around. Sam knows people who smugglers. Sam knows people high up, and so getting into a speakeasy is a pretty easy task for someone like Sam, not requiring a roll. So the door opens, and Sam, on your say so, of course, your guests are allowed in too, and you get into this. The door closes behind you, a curtain opens, a velvet kind of curtain, and behind there are a bunch of small little round cafe tables, maybe about 20 or 30 of them, with a bar on one wall, and on the far wall, a smaller band, not quite as big as the one in the Continental Hotel, playing some, great tunes. You've got a singer. She's walking between the tables talking with a mic with a long cord going all the way back to the stage. And you see Lydia at one of these cafe tables, and she's sitting there talking to a guy who is standing over her, a thick, heavy-set guy who seems to be chatting with her. And she, you can see she's giving him the brush off, and man, this girl has trouble. As soon as you look, of course, now he's put his hand down on her arm and is trying to pull her up to get up from her seat.
This Lydia.
Oh, all right. Who's the mug over there with him? Was he with her when you spoke to her last, Ramona?
No.
Oh,
You know.
right.
So, Sam, you may know who the guy is who's with Lydia in this rogues gallery of Harbor City. And this, if you want to kind of definitively know who it is, you could do a simple 2d6 eyes roll to figure that out.
Absolutely, I'm going to.
Are you going to burn anything?
Yeah, I think I will. I haven't done much with the burn, so just throw that in there. So I'm just rolling 1d6, right?
Yep.
All right, here we go. I rolled a 2.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. So, you look and, oh, for sure, that's Bag Speckler. And Bag Speckler is, a local gangster.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own crew that he runs in Harbor City, more of the rackets, rather than booze. But he's probably here with his boys just to have a nice night on the town.
So I'll make my way over and say, evening, Bags. I see you've been keeping my date company. Know that I appreciate it, but we're here now. So why don't you go help yourself over to a cocktail at the bar, and I'll order myself, my friends, and my date here some drinks shortly.
He he looks at you, looks at her, and just says, "Is this true? You got a date with Sam Trowell?" And he goes, "Man, that." He lets go of her arm, and he's totally confused. He looks at you, he looks at the dish at the table, and he's like, "Sam, I don't know, maybe I've misjudged you." And he puts his hand to his forehead and just kind of walks away.
Huh. Does that seem like Bags and his personality, or?
He seemed utterly confused. Why would you be with her? Was the general sentiment.
Right. And I won't say anything to him, but I'll just kind of slide into my chair, and actually I will remember to pull the chair out for Ramona, and then I'll slide into the chair.
Thank you.
All right.
And I'll just stand there because I don't know what to do. I'm in a foreign environment.
And as soon as you sit down, you and Ramona sit down, and Peter's kind of standing. A waiter comes over, and he goes, "Hey," he throws down a glass that seems to be full of scotch for Lydia, and looks at the two of you and says, "Well, what do you take?"
Well, for me, I'd like a Manhattan, and my friend here, he doesn't drink, so I think he'd like a mint and julep.
All right.
What?
Oh, don't worry about it. There's no alcohol in it. It tastes like peppermint. You'll enjoy it.
And he looks at Ramona and says, "And you, ma'am?"
Gin, please.
All right. And he will take off and come back fairly soon with your drinks. But Lydia takes a big swig of that scotch and looks at Ramona and says, "Hey, thanks for your help earlier.
Anytime.
But I'm really worried. My sister, I don't know what to do. And I know that, John, he's got a lot of connections. He might know what's going on. That's all I wanted from him."
Well, what makes you think John knows what happened to her?
I don't know, but he's connected. He knows everybody. He's connected with all the bosses. He's connected with everything that goes on in this town. Why do you think he's running for mayor?
Well,
Because he's an asshole.
And she laughs at Peter's comment. That he is.
Well, I mean, not to throw any doubt on what you're suggesting, but ma'am, I am a private investigator, and I hand her my card, and wait for when she sets it on the table, and I'll take it back. Hopefully,
She's gonna need that back. I think it's his only one.
She takes it and puts it in her clutch.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll. Anyways, but I mean, we usually go, those of us in the private investigation business, we tend to go with facts first, and that usually leads us to where we want to go. So what proof do you have other than just the idea that he may know someone who knows someone that happened to her? And plus, Ramona mentioned something about other people gone missing. So what are you trying to connect here?
I don't know. She maybe knew something. I went to her apartment and it was all smashed up, right?
Oh.
The door was smashed up. She wasn't there. I don't know where she would be, but someone took her. It wasn't just like she's disappeared. I mean, her place was a mess.
Have you?
And John, I know they've had arguments in past. I know he's running for something, and I don't know. Maybe my sister had something on him.
Have you called the police yet?
Of course I did.
And did they find anything at her apartment?
They said that she probably just went away for a little while. My sister traveled as part of the university, so they were like, "Oh, maybe she'll be back." I told them about the break-in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, is anyone hurt?" And I said, "Well, no, I can't tell." And so they said, "Oh well, we'll send someone out."
Well, that definitely seems suspicious to me. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm used to working alone in situations like this, but maybe I'm could always use help, and any other questions or something that I may be missing.
You saw how John was acting. If he didn't know anything, why not just say, I don't know anything, and why not offer to help, especially if you want to be mayor? That's goodwill.
Because he's hiding.
You saw how he was acting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's suspicious all around. People in authority and power are used to getting their way. I've found out many times, but I don't know. We still don't have a lead. So, considering the suspicious aspect of the cops in your sister's apartment, maybe we should check that out. See if there's anything there that they either didn't bother to look for, or something that they may have missed. Because it just, that's the scene of the crime, as they say, where she's gone missing. So maybe there might be something there.
Damn, you're so smart.
Wow. Thank you, Ramona.
You are.
You
were always smart.
Oh, right. Yeah. Not used to people telling me that. So Well,
So Lydia says, so what are you going to do?
I
You
mean,
going to find my sister?
well, we're gonna try. I mean, that's I mean, that's my job. I don't know what these two are gonna do, but they seem to be vested in this, and we can always use someone with Ramona's personality and her ability to get information from people, and there's Pete.
There's always Pete.
What don't I bring some qualities to the table?
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course you do, Pete. I mean, you're what
Spit it out.
Oh, that's right, a librarian. I mean, so you got you read books.
It's a noble profession.
Yeah, you know book stuff.
Yeah,
I do.
You're book smart. Yeah,
Right.
you're book smart.
And you said your sister wrote a book or something. Maybe you can find that book or something else that
What's
there
the
may be
book
something.
gonna tell us? She wrote a book.
You know what? I'm a PI. What you do is you gather all the clues together and then you figure it out. But you don't leave any stone unturned.
Okay, fine. I will find the book that she wrote.
Right.
Maybe there's a clue.
Hey,
Yeah, there might have been a dedication.
and
We could find that person.
exactly. And just so you
Does
know,
this mean I can be so hold on.
Yeah.
Like in the dime store books, in the novels, I can be a real dick.
Yeah, that's what you want to be.
you always had a way with words, Pete. I do remember that from high school.
So
but yeah.
Lydia,
And the waiter comes back and gives you all your drinks. Bag Speckler is keeping an eye on you. He's seated with two guys and two other women, and Bags is keeping an eye on you, Sam.
Okay. So you know what? Before we head out, all things considered, let me see if I can do a little snooping here. I'm gonna go talk to Bags and see if maybe he might have heard anything before we head out.
So, but before you do that, though, after I hack
Right.
and cough after drinking the first sip of the mint julep, I power down this thing, and never having had alcohol, Peter is a little like it goes right to his head. He's like, "Woo!" It's like having a hot shot of sake, right? Like, whoa. Peter's like pushing up his little blazer. He's like, "You want me to take care of him? I do it. I'll take care of him."
I look at Ramona and kind of see what she says with her eyes.
I got him.
Ramona will just roll my eyes back. And I go, well, how about this, Pete? How about we go dance?
Okay. All right. So
how about we go dance?
Right. Oh, okay. Well,
and there's a nice little dance floor in there with people, moving very quick, doing the jitterbug, or I don't know what the heck they're doing, something like that out there.
Right. All right.
Charleston.
I was gonna say I could do it at Charleston, and I make an ass of myself on the dance floor.
You kick me.
I kick you. I end up on my back. I mean, I do all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, it's horrible.
Right. So while that's happening, and
when they say librarians don't dance, they weren't kidding.
I hear the breaking of glass and silver platters falling to the ground. Hey, Bags, just hypothetically speaking, I'm not here working a job, but let's just say maybe, if I might have been looking to get a bit of information about something. You think you're open? You might be a little bit open to that.
Well, Sam, I might be open to it if I give you a little information. Maybe you owe me a favor.
Hey, Bags, when have I not, provided you and paid you back with my favors? I'm good for it.
All right, let's see what's your question then.
So my date, right? She's got a bit of a concern. See, her sister She says she's gone missing, kidnapped at that, taken from her apartment, and she hasn't heard from her since. She's gone to the cops, and the cops seem to have brushed it under the rug. And it also involves one Mr. John Whitaker, the man running for mayor. And so,
it involves Whitaker, huh?
It sure does.
Well, listen, I don't want to speak out of turn, but Sam, you want to stay away from Whitaker.
Why would that be?
Well, he's really muscled in the last few years on some of the territory, poppies, if you know what I'm saying.
Do I see someone actually making bags shake in his boots? I thought I would. Go ahead.
He's like missing, man. The, what they've got going on, with the circus. It's a pretty clever operation.
The circus, you say?
Yeah.
What? Huh. I put my finger to my nose and go, all right. So this circus you mentioned, that seems to be connected with Mr. Whitaker. All right. Do you happen to have any of your boys working at the circus right now?
Nah. That's nah. We don't have any rackets down there, man.
All right. Well, you know what? I think I may, this is something that I can use. Not that I'm working a job or anything, but yeah. So consider that I owe you a favor because
you're gonna owe me one.
All right. Hey, like I said, when was the last time that I didn't pay you back? I mean, don't mention the last time that I didn't pay you back, but I'm usually good for it, and always have been eventually. Anyway, Bags, we're going to probably, oh God, my friend Pete, sorry what he's doing to the dance floor here, but, we'll be heading out shortly.
I created a new dance.
The librarian.
And at that point, kind of the door opens at the far end, the door you came in with, and there you see a whole line of cops. And they're coming in and they've got a bullhorn. They say, "This is a raid." And Bags and his guys just stay seated. But everyone else, you see people knocking over tables now, getting up. Lydia gets up too, and she runs like towards the ladies' room, that kind of thing. And people are just, the cops are now diving in amongst the table and just grabbing whoever they can. And, putting some manacles on them and setting them out to the wagon, the paddy wagon, which is outside of the alley.
Right.
So what do y'all do?
Oh.
The band is grabbing their instruments and kind of running for it,
I'm going to rush from the bar, and I'm going to, rush towards Ramona and Pete, and hey, we need to cheese it. We don't want to spend the night in the slammer.
All right. So what are you gonna do to get away from the coppers who are now filling up this place? And you do notice there's at least one well-dressed man who just stood there, and as they went to kind of clap irons, he kind of shook the hands of one of the cop looked down at his hand, and then that guy in his date walked right out past all the cops.
Take a note of that.
Right. Okay. Ramona, where's Lydia, right? Lydia's Lydia
took off.
Oh.
I was on the dance floor. I don't know.
She was helping me up. I slipped again. I was doing the librarian.
All right. Well, we got to figure out, are we going to try to schmooze our way out the door, or are we going to try to find a back exit? But we got to decide soon. Otherwise, there's going to be
Yeah, and just as a note, remember, Peter, we are directly underneath the library.
So would I know then? Is there a connection?
I don't know.
A
Do
hidden
you?
staircase or something?
Yeah.
There's got to be.
What do you think? So what do you think is there? You tell me. What's
I would
there,
imagine
Peter?
there's probably this is probably a sub basement to the library's like archival basement. So I would imagine there's a connecting staircase that I may be aware of.
Yeah. You know what? Even more than that, you know that they used to store books down here, right? Archival storage, and the way they did it is there was actually a dumbwaiter
Better.
that they went down, and if you spend your surge,
Fantastic. Yes.
so you can now click your surge to inactive or taken, and you know exactly where it is, and it's behind the bar. And if you can get behind the bar, that's exactly where there's a panel, and you can see it even from here how you would open it, and then there's a dumbwaiter right there.
I'm gonna grab Lydia. I'm gonna grab Ramona's hand and kind of over my shoulder to Sam. Come on, I got an idea. Follow me.
And now to get behind the bar and get there, you have to dodge patrons who are running away from the police.
Oh, of course.
Police who might be looking at you, that kind of thing. And so this is where you can make a run for it, and this will be your move stat, and you'll be using your move stat to try to make it over to that area. Now, I would say this is a bit challenging, right?
Okay.
With some opposition, it's going to be a 3d6 roll to do to get over there, and so you can. I think you all have the same move, right? You all have a 5.
5,
yeah, 5s. So you can do it individually to go and get over there. Now there is a helping function within Burn 2d6, and the way it works is kind of like this. If you want to help another PC to accomplish something, and you explain how you can do it, then you can. You would take 1 burn to the relevant stat, and then you take half your stat, rounded down, and then they add that to their target number. Okay, that's how you help in the game. And if you do have, as an example, surge, and you were helping someone else, you could use your surge to benefit them.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if it's relevant here, but I just want to make you aware of the mechanic.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to, as I grab Ramona's hand and holler over my shoulder in the cacophony of noise that's happening, to follow me. I've got an idea, and I bolt towards the bar. I'm going to burn 2.
All right, so you have a D6 roll
Yep.
against a move of 5.
Yep.
I think that's a smart move.
And I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2, so you make it.
Okay.
Ramona, what are you going to do?
I will. I'm gonna burn 2 as well.
Considering I'm dragging you,
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
I thought it was kind of important to get.
Would you get a 6?
I sure did.
So the good news about a 6 is anytime all of the die you roll show a 6, and in this case you're rolling 1 die, it shows a 6, you get your surge back. So you recover your surge, okay, but you failed the roll. So what happens, Peter, as you're dragging Ramona forward, you lose grip on her. Okay.
No.
And you make it to the thing, and you activate, you open it up, and there again, There's the dumbwaiter. You can see a handle inside. It looks like it's got a little light inside when you open it, so it's still powered. But let's go to our friend, the PI Sam.
Right.
So you've seen your friend go forward, and same thing, Ramona. They're both sprinting for behind the bar. And what are you going to do?
Oh boy. Ooh. I mean, realistically, I'm just gonna burn 2d6, but just thinking about the help mechanic, what I probably would have done earlier was, maybe would have shouted fire, and that would have lowered their target rating. So just so I'm following along how the mechanic works.
So you would yell fire, and what do you hope to get from yelling fire?
Essentially a surge of people blocking me and the cops as I make my way with them to the dumbwaiter, essentially buying us time before they, to keep them from getting in our way.
Well, I'll say this. If you make a heart roll to yell fire and get people's attention effectively, we'll give Ramona another shot at making it to dumbwaiter. You will have bought her time, but you will have to make a heart roll followed by a move roll to make it to the dumbwaiter if you want to do that.
I'm going to try it because like I said, I would just want to utilize the mechanics as best we can in this game.
So it's definitely going to be a 3d6 roll. To do that. It's a basic, plus you got to yell above the din, so another d6 of difficulty. And you'll at least get the wave moving back in the direction of the cops, giving you some coverage.
Right. So and this was a heart roll. Now can I burn on this one too if I wanted to?
Sure can. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to burn one heart to give me 2d6.
2d6, yeah. And your class ring, by the way, gives you a lot of like bravado, right? Just even the possession of it. It's a special artifact. So your target number is actually a 10.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, that's an 8.
An 8. So you make it. So you see, the wave of people. You yell fire, fire, and people go, oh my God, there's a fire, and people start yelling it too, and the wave starts moving the other way. Even you see a few police kind of turn the other way. There's a fire, and people start yelling fire. You got a whole cacophony of fires being yelled. So, Ramona, you've fallen down, and you see that your friend has made it to the dumbwaiter, but all of a sudden, you're kind of freed up. Apparently, there's a fire. People are yelling fire all over. Do you want to, now it's just a 2d6 move roll to get yourself to that dumbwaiter, to get yourself up and over there.
See, I was successful with the librarian dance on the floor. I set this house on fire.
That's right.
Well, I want to know what happens when I get stuck. I want to get arrested. So I'm just going to roll 2d6.
You're going to roll 2d6. All right.
Yep.
Let's see.
7.
So you don't make it, but we'll hold on the result of that. Let's go to Scott, to our Detective Sam.
So after the turmoil begins and everyone's rushing about,
it'll be a 2d6 move roll for you.
Right. So I'm going to burn a move.
Yeah.
So effectively, what I'm going to do is, kind of leading into Roz failing is, as Ramona kind of starts to get herself up, I'm leaping and I'm running, and I'm just going to, say that whether I make it or not, that I trip over you, Ramona. That's what causes you to fail.
Oh,
nice. But so I rolled a 2 for my move.
So you make it, and you and Peter are now both right there. The dumbwaiter's open, and you can get in. You look back, and you see 2 police officers on either side of Ramona helping her up. And now you can go into the dumbwaiter, and you can get a clean getaway.
Yep.
It's up to you. You tell me what you want to do.
I mean,
that's what I'm doing.
Sam's got a warrant.
Sam, let's go.
Sam's got an unpaid parking ticket or 7. So he's 100. Like, man, hey Pete, we got to scram. we'll get Ramona soon. She's a big girl. She can take care of herself.
Can we get some more of that mint julep before we go?
As I just grab whatever bottles nearby as we get into the dumbwaiter.
Sure.
Absolutely, Pete.
You end up with a bottle of gin. But, so, you get in the dumbwaiter and you activate the lever, and you guys just go up, not super fast, but slowly up. And, certainly
Sam needs a diet.
Sam recognizes, that this dumbwaiter brings you up to the first floor of the library, kind of in the behind the scenes area of the library. So not amongst the stacks, but among their kind of archive area.
Right.
And there it is. You open up the door, and there you are in a dark library at night.
I know where the light switch is. Hold on.
And I fumble around and I trip over stuff.
Hold on.
And boop, I find it.
And the electric lights kind of crackle to life all around this archive area. Pardon me, this archive area. And but let's go down to Ramona, who's down below. And Ramona, two nice officers get to either side of you, help you up, and they go, "Ma'am, you're gonna have to come with us." And
do I recognize either of those?
They have names. It's you can see on their badge. You can see it's officers Smith and Gary. So Officer Smith and Officer Gary, and they get on either side, and they're polite. They can tell, like, you're not really the crowd for this place, and they say, "Ma'am, come on, this is, about prohibition, we got to crack down on these places, come on." And they walk you out, to the door, and then up, you get up to the top of the stairs, and indeed there is a paddy wagon, and people are being loaded into it, and they're bringing you there. Would you like to do anything, Ramona?
Officer Gary? Gary. Are you related to Mildred Gary?
Well, do you want him to be related to Mildred Gary?
I do. I want that to be his mother.
So you got that surge back. So you can take that surge away again. And indeed, his mother is Mildred Gary. He goes, yeah, Mildred, she's my mom.
Your voice sounded so familiar. It did. It's like, because I remember it was it like a couple of days ago, like Sunday. I was like, I think I heard your voice twice because I was working a little bit overtime. And I was like, yeah, I remember you were talking to your mother, saying you couldn't come over for dinner. But you were talking also to some woman, saying you were going to meet her at the Continental in the lobby area.
So let's see if that's true. So Ramona, you're going to need to reach into that notepad of impractical facts and irrelevant oddities, and see if that's in there. So again, this will be an eyes roll. You have an 8 plus the 2 from the notebook, a 10. The difficulty on this roll, in really finding if that fact is there, it's super convenient. So I'm going to make it a 3d6 roll, just heightened above 2d6. So you can tell me what you want to happen from this. The other thing is, this is another type of roll where we'll combine the amount of information in your magnitude of effects. So 3d6 is the base roll. If you want a higher level of effect, you can push it to 4 or something like that to get a greater effect from the roll.
So my number's 10.
Yep.
I'm gonna burn the eyeballs, burn some eyes.
You're gonna burn one eye?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 3d6 brings it down to a 2d6 roll.
That's a 7.
That's good. And so it's true what you said to him about, this kind of, your mom wanted you to come over, you were saying no, and you got this girl on the side. So what do you want the result from that to be, Ramona?
That he kind of shushes me. And then he'll walk me off to the side.
Yeah, and so that's exactly what happens. He says to Officer Smith, he go, whoa, I've got her. I'll get her in the wagon. And he goes back to get more people. So he brings you off to the side of the wagon and he says, hey, how do you know that? How do you know my mom?
Well, I am so good at I work for Ma Bell, and I am a telephone operator. And some people's like the names stand out, and sometimes their voices stand out. Your mom has a very distinct voice, and I just remembered it, and it's like, oh, and then I associate with the name, and I look at your name, and it's like, what are the odds? So I just was curious if you were the Gary, you were Mr. Gary that sort of kind of couldn't go to dinner with his mother, who she slaved cooking all day. Just curious. I was just making conversation.
Yes, yeah. Listen, I don't think that I don't think my mom needs to know about that. So you think he can forget you heard that?
Can we step over here a little bit more and maybe I could think about it?
Yeah, he steps
stepping further and further away.
He steps further, like down the alley, away from the speakeasy. Yeah. And he goes, all right, yeah.
So what was your name again?
Yeah,
this is me acting like I don't know his name.
Yeah, Phil Gary.
Gary. Well, it's good to meet you, Officer Gary. That's an interesting name. Not one I've heard before.
He goes, all right. Well, let's just keep this between you and me. Why don't you have a good night?
You too, officer. And you take care. And you say, Gary, it's like, that's the first time hearing that name. But also, you should, well, not you, but it's really a good idea when sons visit their mothers.
And he kind of looks at it and he goes, yes, ma'am. Oh. And then he goes back to grab some more people, and before he's noticed. So as long as you skedaddle out of there.
I took off my pumps.
I would be so screwed if phones still work that way.
The party line.
Yes, party line.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have been awful if I accidentally put the wrong wires.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, Ramona, before we go back to these two characters stuck in an elevator together, what's your intention? What do you intend to do at this point? You're fancy free. You're out on Juniper Way, right across from the Continental Hotel.
I unfortunately did not get an address from Lydia. Where would I go?
An address for what? For
Lydia's, either where she lives or where Lucy lived.
Yeah.
Didn't get one.
Might have been like what is that? What they used to say? Maybe it was Delta 599.
Oh, I am a child from that period, and my phone number was Prospect 51095.
Well, Ramona, not to lead you along, but you do work for the telephone company, and you do have friends that can probably get you that information.
Yeah,
like that.
Why you gotta be like that?
Hey,
it's like when I get to work, I could probably look it up because people will ask you, "Oh, I need so and so." So, but that would be a work day. This is nighttime.
This is party
and
time.
I have no idea where you guys are.
Right. So what are you going to do, Ramona? What's your thought?
I think what I will do is I will walk. What is the Old Bones Club? Do I know what that is?
Yeah, it's a dinner club.
I think I will walk in.
Private club.
Okay, I won't go that way. I think I'll go back to the Continental.
Sure.
I'll do that.
All right. All right. Let's go to our friends up in the library, the first floor in the archive.
Yeah.
So
let's do that.
So when Pete turns the lights on, my first reaction is going to be, oh, well, this is a library? This is not what I thought a library was.
Well, this is our archive. This is where we keep all the good books.
Right. All right. So Pete, hear me out.
And the historical records.
So Ramona right now, she's probably scared. She's probably crying. She doesn't know what's going on. So it's up to you and I to figure out a way to get her out. I don't know how much money you have, but we may need to post bail. If we rush out now, we might be able to find out which paddy wagon she's in, and if we can figure out how to unlock it, we can bust her out.
And at that moment, you hear a giant crash in the library, as if an entire stand of books has been pushed over.
Oh,
whoa, golly gee, what the heck was that? In the public
section of the library. Yeah.
Pete, is that normal?
No.
So as soon as he says no, I take my pistol out.
Whoa, what is that? Put that away.
Well, I mean, obviously, if the library's closed and that's not normal, something
you can hurt somebody with that.
Right, I can, but I can also make sure no one hurts you or me. So let's go see what that crash was.
Okay.
And I grab my trusty. I literally grab an encyclopedia because that's like the nearest thing to a weapon that I can think of. A big fat chunky book. Wow. I don't have a gun. I don't know. I've never held a gun in my life.
So yeah. So let's we make our way over to where the sound came from.
Yeah, and you're in the archive part where the people work in the library go, and there's a door from there that goes out into the public part of the library. And as you walk out there, it's still dark in that area, and you see straight ahead of you, moving towards like the doors to exit, in the dark, this giant hulking figure in the dark. And it is just moving away from you, and it's heavy footsteps. Boom, boom, boom.
Whoa.
And under, you can see that in one hand, I would say under the arm, but the hand is so big that you see it has a stack of 3 books in its hand.
Excuse me, you're gonna have to check those books out.
Pete.
And Pete, do you wanna try to get its attention with the?
Fuck yeah! It's trying to steal books from my library.
Noise. That's great. That's great.
Hell yeah!
So Pete, how are you gonna do? You're gonna yell at the top of your lungs.
Yes, I am.
You're gonna really try to arouse this.
I'm gonna throw that big chunky encyclopedia to the ground so it makes this big thud, and I'm gonna yell. You're gonna have to check those things out.
So, what do you want to happen?
I want that thing to stop, turn, and I'm going to try not to piss my pants.
Okay. So, this would be just a normal 2d6 roll, right? Difficulty-wise.
Okay.
But based on who this opponent is, this is a 5d6 roll to get its attention to turn around.
Okay. Does the
and it's dark, like you have no detail other than like a hulking silhouette, right? Yeah.
So 5d6 and what skill? What stat is it? Heart.
And you will, if you succeed, you will get to stop and turn around and face the two of you.
Does the encyclopedia has an H1? Does that give me anything?
Yes. Yeah, because you're gonna slap it down on the ground. Yeah. That'll give you a 6 heart. Yeah.
Okay.
You gonna burn any, Pete?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to burn 3.
All right, and that'll bring it down to a 2d6, and you've got to get under a 6.
Yeah. Oh, I rolled a 5 and a 3. I rolled an 8.
An 8. So this this thing pauses for 2 heartbeats and then moves its foot forward. Boom, boom. And you know it is just paces from the front door that
Do something, Sam.
These giant double doors, and you know it's going to have no problem just going right out into the street.
It's stealing my books. Do something.
Well, you tried, Pete. I mean, and just so I'm clear, this is obviously doesn't seem human, or does it seem like just a big man?
Well, you've never seen a man that big, but it's pretty big. Could be. Circus is in town.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna, shout. You heard the librarian, and I'm gonna fire a shot across it. I'm not gonna shoot it. I'm fire a shot across it.
Yeah. What do you hope for it to do?
Well, to do what Pete wanted, to turn and acknowledge us, to see, want to see what this, who this is.
Okay. All right.
As soon as he shoots, I'm going to fall to the ground, scared. I'm going to drop to the ground and like put my hands over my head like, ah.
Okay. But you're not going to shoot it.
No, I'm just trying to stop. Because again, if
it's a warning shot.
Yeah, it's a warning shot. I mean, so I don't see what it is.
It's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be a 5d6 roll to accomplish that.
Okay. And my pistol H1.
Yep, it counts. So it'll bring your to a 9. It'll bring your roll number to target number to a 9.
Okay.
On a 5d6.
All right. So, and what's the roll again?
Heart. 5d6.
All right. So I'm going to burn 3.
All right. So now 2d6. Oops. Oh, you put it in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I know. My bad. My heart was 8?
8. Yeah.
Okay. 8. And there we go. So 5.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So 2d6. Under a 9. 8.
An 8. So you fire off the crack, and this time it stops for a full 2 heartbeats, turns and faces you, and you see this dark shape. Again, the lights are off. You can see it's got eyes, mouth, very, very big, and it looks at you. And then it takes a step forward towards you, away from the door.
All right. What now, Pete? You gonna ask him for his card?
I'm looking up from the floor, going, "Oh my god!"
I don't.
Excuse me. You're gonna have to check those books out properly. Wait a minute.
All right. I'm lifting Pete up too, or trying to.
Hey, don't be so rough.
Yeah, what do you two? What do you want to do at this point? What do you hope as he takes another step forward towards you both?
I raise my gun at him and just freeze. Not another step.
I'm hoping I don't poop my pants.
and he takes a step forward. And at that moment, you can catch the light from the archive area kind of is bouncing off the walls, the floor. You can just make out kind of dim light. This creature that is facing you seems to be made out of, you don't know what, maybe clay. It has eyes with openings with no eyeballs in it, no nose, a mouth that just opens but no sound comes out. In its hand are these 3 books in its hand, and it seems to have different markings carved in the body on it. And this thing that you know definitely is not a man about 10 feet tall now takes another step forward towards you. And at this point, because this is an unworldly thing, this thing is super fearful, or it invokes or instills a lot of fear in you. And you're going to have to respond to that. You're going to have to resist this. And again, so this will be a 5d6 soul roll where you are going to want to get the heck out of there.
Woo.
So let's start with Sam on the ground. Sam, this thing is 10 feet tall, thicker than 2 trees, and is not human.
Right. Okay. So 5d6 soul?
Yep, 5d6 souls, Sam.
Oh boy.
Or,
Okay.
but you know, again, the other thing is, so the difficulty really on this is, to explain the mechanics, is 2d6, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then what we're adding for the opponent is 3d6 to making it 5d6.
Right.
If you were to fail this roll, right, or just accept failure and not roll, you will take 2 burn to soul.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So
got it.
If you fail this roll, you're going to take burn, or if you just accept the failure, you take burn anyway.
And run away,
or you
right?
can run away, or you if you want to stay and face it, then you succeed. You can work to succeed on your soul roll, but you will spend burn to do so, probably. These types of opponents are very tough because of the way that mechanic works. This is super fearful.
Right. And the surge, one more time, the surge again allows us to
remove a d6.
To remove a d6. Okay.
Yeah.
Or create an element of a scene within
That's
the
right. Or
scene
create an element of the scene. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So an element of the scene could be like, if you are interested in this point at interrupting what's going on, and I'm just trying to give an example for our listeners, right?
Yeah.
It could be, I mean, maybe there's a night watchman who is in the library at night, and maybe this is the moment where the night watchman flicks on all the lights and says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" You know, type of thing.
Right.
I mean, it could be anything, so it's up to you.
Too bad I've already used my surge.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with this, and you obviously adjudicate as you see fit. I'm gonna use my surge, right? And here's what I'd like to happen. As this, this thing, steps towards us, and we're both shaking in our boots. The library where we're at, the lights turn on, and I hear behind me what in sweet Mary Mother of God is that? And it is it's Bags, who also made his way up the dumbwaiter and was just making his way out to get away from the cops, and he sees it. And so that's going to distract the creature and focus his attention on him for however long.
Okay, so you're going to spend that surge.
Yeah.
And, I really like that scene. So Bags actually comes up. Not only did Bags come up, but his crew came with him. He's got the 2 young ladies and his 2 guys. And he looks at the thing and he goes, "Plug it, boys." And these guys all of a sudden, under their guns, open up Tommy guns. And now in the library, it's very noisy, Sam. They just they unload, at this creature, and as soon as they do that and they start hitting it, it turns around, drops the books, and heads out running, boom, 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 bursting open the doors of the library, and then out into the street. Now, Ramona, you were just about to walk inside the Continental Hotel when you hear this boom, and you look behind you, and the doors of the library burst open, and this giant creature, 10 foot tall, comes stomping out of the library and takes a right out of the library and takes a right onto Grand Street and starts running down Grand Street towards towards the harbor. So you see that, and you heard some gunfire too, something.
Being very startled, would do that thing of flattening myself up against whatever is the nearest wall, look in the direction of the library, waiting to see if anything else comes out.
All right, Sam, Peter, and of course Bags, Speckler, and friends.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all do there in the library? Besides, he and his boys are just gawking. They literally put their guns down, hanging at their side, and they look at you and they go, "What the hell was that, Sam?"
Hey, you know what? I have no idea what that was, Bags. But again, I'm not working a case, if you get my meaning. To be perfectly honest, me and Pete probably should hightail it out of here before the cops come. So, consider I owe you another favor, man. Pete, let's grab those books and let's get out of here before things get even more convoluted.
I don't know what's going on.
And Bags, his two guys and the gals with him, they just make a beeline for the door. They run for it. They're getting the heck out of there. So they leave you two just kind of standing there, and they go,
Right.
"Yep, you owe me one, Sam," as they head out there.
Pete just grabs up
Ramona
books.
across the street. You see a couple of gangsters and a couple of girls come out. You see them putting these Tommy guns back under their long coats, and they take off, but they don't go right. They go left, and they start running towards the courthouse, and you can see some cars parked on the road, and they jump into one of the cars and take off.
Right. Pete, grab those books, man. Let's get out of here. This is going to get really convoluted really quick.
Yeah, Pete grabs books and he grabs his encyclopedia, his trusty encyclopedia. And he just makes a beeline out of there.
Okay. But
he does pick up the books that thing.
Drop.
Keith suspects he knows what that thing is, but Peter doesn't know what that thing was.
Yeah. So you pick up those books and head out, and that's what Ramona sees. The next figures are your two friends coming out of the library as well, and you all coming out of the library. You look up, and there you see Ramona kind of standing up at the doors of the Continental Hotel.
And before she does, she hears Sam's voice to Peter saying, "Pete, you know what? After what we just saw and what we just went through, Ramona's on her." Oh, Ramona!
What in the world is going on?
Where did that thing go?
What is what happened?
That big thing. Where did it go?
I will point toward the harbor.
Right.
I think we need to follow it.
I think not.
Yeah, Ramona. We probably should. I don't. There's a lot to explain here, but if we can't find that thing, we'll explain it. But let's get out of here.
I think it's eating the ladies.
Here, Pete, have some water. So let's.
Oh, that hit the spot.
But I think whatever it was, may have something to do, may not. But I've never seen anything like this. But I'm beside myself. But it's gonna get even hotter here if we don't get out of here.
Okay, let's go. What are you carrying?
The books. This is my trusty encyclopedia. The other books are the ones that it had. It tried to steal books from my library.
What kind of books?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look.
Okay, well, take a look. Can you look while we're walking?
I can try.
Lord have mercy.
Let's hightail it here. There's probably more cops on their way.
Here, take a look at this book. And I hand one to Ramona and I hand one to Sam.
The one thing all three of those books have in common is that they were each written by Professor Lucy Gaz. And
Oh my God.
And Professor Lucy Gaz wrote each one of them, and they're a set, volumes 1, 2, and 3. And volume 1 is simply myths and truths of Eastern Europe. The second book is lost secrets of Eastern Europe. And then the third book is rituals and rites of the peoples of Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're walking along and we're making this kind of, connection as we're just looking at the covers, is there any signs of where this thing went, or has it just, gone off?
You follow around the corner around the library and you look down Grand Street and you think that's the way it went, but there's no sign of it.
Right. You know what? If that thing's probably disappeared back in the darkness where it came from, I don't know. Why don't we go back to my office and take a look at these books and then maybe figure out what we're going to do next? Because this definitely has changed, gotten a little bit more than what I can expect. And you know what? My flask is out. I need a refill.
But I thought you said we needed to go where it was. It went toward the harbor. And also by the harbor is where the circus is. Maybe you could find something there.
Oh, have you done this before, Ramona? Because maybe I'm just not good at my profession. Maybe I should be a telephone operator.
You said, where did it go? I said it went that way.
All right.
That way was the harbor.
Well, I mean,
Sam,
lead
she's
on.
really good at this.
Who asked you, Pete? Lead on, Ramona. Let's head to the harbor, and then we'll figure out what to do from there if we can't find anything else.
Well, because remember, Lydia said there was people missing from the circus, so maybe they know, or maybe that thing came from the circus.
Maybe I should get a notepad and write stuff down, because it's
really should.
It's just
and you should
hard.
Listen more.
You know what? I really should drink more water.
Now, at this point, as you're sitting there talking on the street, a taxi cab rolls up and goes, "Hey, you ladies, fellas, you going somewhere? You need a ride?"
Yeah. The circus.
Yeah, I think they're closed, mister.
It's all right. We just take us there. We're meeting someone, but
all right, that'll be $2.
If you get us there quick, there'll be a 50-cent tip in it for you.
Oh, you got it, mister.
Pete, you got 50 cents on you?
Yeah, let me check my pockets. Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, yes, so you guys pile into the taxi, and he makes it with speed. He's getting extra 2 pence or whatever, to extra 50 cents to go over there. So, and he drives you down Grand Street. A lot of traffic this time of night. People leaving clubs, going to clubs, that whole thing. You get down to Harbor Ave, where there are a lot of warehouses, and just before the harbor, on an area that you think at one point must have had a warehouse, a large one that burned down, is the circus. And there's a circus tent, circus cars, all of that thing. And of course, the rail line runs through here too. So this is the old kind of circus that came in by train, but they've got the big top up and everything else. And you see, as you pull up to essentially the back side of the circus, a lot of the circus performers and folks are sitting around fires, smoking, talking, all that kind of thing. So, this is considered to be the during the day people go for the circus type of thing, but at night this is not a desirable part of town.
Right. Right.
All right, you sure you want me to let you off here?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Here, Pete, you got that 50 cent? Oh, it's $1. Here, keep the change, pal.
Well, thanks, mister.
Hey,
Let you off, and the taxi takes off.
hey, I got rent to pay on my apartment.
I'm good for it, Pete. Don't worry
I
about
thought you
it.
live with your mother.
Telephone operators.
All right, so what's the plan, Pete? Can you make any heads or tails of these books?
I'm gonna take a few moments and flip through to see if I can quickly discern anything.
What do you want to find in those books?
I mean, Keith knows what this thing is, right?
Do you want to find a picture of that thing?
I would like to see if I can find a picture or a line drawing or some description that matches the physical.
So you are a librarian, so you easily go through these books, and what you find without rolls or anything, routine action for a librarian. The first book, you find a story about a construct, about a golem.
Yep.
And it's a story about a person taking revenge upon another with this construct. And of course, in the end, it turns against them and kills them. Right? You then read a little bit more about that maybe they were real, that kind of thing, and you finally get to the third book, and you find an incomplete essentially drawings of an old ritual that was said to have been used at one time or another, and a list of ingredients and how you do this. And it's probably about 5 pages in the third book that is actually a how-to on how to create a golem.
Does the ritual talk about either undoing or the connection between a golem and its master?
Yeah, it does. And the one thing and the dangerous thing about the golem is that the golem will live as long as its master does.
Okay.
And the golem will essentially exhibit the passions of its master and undertake the will of its master.
As I'm skimming through, as Peter's skimming through the books and finding this information, he is as these tidbits and morsels pass his eyes, he's just blurting it out to Ramona and Sam willy-nilly. He's not worried about like connecting dots. It's like verbal diarrhea, it just keeps coming out. So everything he comes across that he thinks is important, he just spits it out for their consumption.
Got it. All right. Well, that's an interesting fairy tale, Peter, but it seems like that creature might be what you just described in that book. This seems to be out of our league. I mean, what's going on here? I don't know.
My guess is that I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I think its master might be maybe Lucy. Maybe. I don't
That's
know.
great.
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, all right. Maybe we can find something out at this circus. So, missing people at the circus. What do you think? Should we snoop around on our own, or should we?
Maybe this thing's got to eat. I don't know.
Well, that's what Lydia said. But, and how does it work if I want to know someone at the circus?
It's a tough one for you, Ramona, with the circus, because you know what? They just pass through. They don't have telephones.
Right. Well, I wanted to. So where I was going with this?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
So I was at the circus earlier.
Okay.
To the fortune teller, Madame Zelda.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't know this. And if you guys ever run into Zelda, you will recognize her because Madame Zelda is actually glorious.
And Ramona, do you have Surge right now, Ramona?
Yes.
She does.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can spend that Surge.
I will do that. Because it's like I was talking to Zelda the other day. She didn't say anything about missing people. But then Lydia was talking about the missing people. So I don't know.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, you see Zelda. I mean, a little bit different. She doesn't have the head thing on. She's got long black hair, but you reckon her. She's over at one of the fires.
Zelda.
And you guys are like out on the street outside of the perimeter of it.
Right.
She hears you. She looks and she's like, kind of just goes like this and stays by the fire.
Oh, I mean, all right. Let's pull her pants up and let's try our best. Let's see if we can get Zelda's attention. What do you think, Ramona? She's ignoring you.
Well, I kind of just, when I saw her, fortune teller, recognized it was Zelda, I kind of didn't pay her. Because I know she doesn't know anything about fortune.
Oh, Pete, how much you got left on you?
Well, I would have had 2 bits, but you tipped the cabbie really well.
Right.
And there are, again, you're probably there's 4 or 5 fires and barrels there with people standing around and, this is drinking, that kind of thing. Right. It's just the circus folk at night kind of hanging out.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, whatever you can, pull together, Pete, have it ready. And then, let's see if we can figure out if this Zelda knows anything.
Why is this my responsibility?
Because I left my wallet at the office.
So you guys going to walk over to Zelda?
I mean, what do you think, Ramona?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. And I will turn around, and as turning around, you do that whole. Just wait a second.
Right.
Okay. I can help a little bit with the money.
Right.
If needed. Only if needed.
And when you guys walk, you have to step over like some train stuff, whatever, and you get into the main area where all these folks are. And as you start walking over to Ramona, you can see people breaking away from the other fires to kind of shadow you over to where Ramona, where your soothsayer is, your fortune teller. And by the time you get over to her, she stopped talking with the 5 other folks there. She's there with a real tattooed up person, stem to stern, another person with piercings like you wouldn't believe, a third person who seems to be a gymnast of some type. And the folks coming up behind you seem to be kind of a teamster types, those who are putting up the tents and that kind of thing, and they all are quiet, waiting for you to say whatever you're going to say.
Hi, Zelda.
Oh, hi, Ramona. I knew it was you.
Look,
I knew you would visit me tonight.
sure you did. Dude.
And I knew you would come with 2 companions.
And I suppose you know their names.
And she looks over at Sam, and she says, "It's coming to me. It's coming to me. It's
and Sam is like subconsciously,
and it is yes, Sam, and the other one over here is Weedy, Petey, right? Yes, those are your friends. I knew it.
Yeah, the same friends that used to, Petey, who used to sit in front of you in Latin. But go ahead.
Yeah. And this is and she starts laughing and she goes, "This is nothing, Ramona and I talked about the times you were all in school together earlier today. Easy to remember. She said you were meeting them tonight at the reunion.
Why didn't you come? I thought you'd be there.
I wasn't a member of your class." In fact, she doesn't speak like I speak. She speaks with a bit of an accent, right. And she is, from elsewhere.
Yes, because you reminded me. Yes, you look so familiar, like so similar to someone that we went to school with. But I heard something kind of disturbing.
Yeah, what did you hear?
I heard that there was like some folks, some of your Carney family, your circus family, had gone missing.
And right away behind you all, the crowd kind of parts. And if you want to talk about that, you got to talk to me. You hear this kind of garrulous voice. And you turn around and seems to be a guy with a bald head, black beard, wearing a red coat. And he says, "Enough of this talk among the group. You 3, you come with me if you've got questions like that."
Okay, fine.
Yeah, lead the way.
And he walks you over to a wagon and stands on the side of it. And what you notice from here is that there is a tent in this area, and you can see from the lights within that there are people reclining within that other tent, and you can see people, some well-dressed, some not, entering. And it doesn't take much to figure out that the circus runs a bit of an opium den. And he looks at you and he says, "And what was your question about our people?"
Well, I was talking to a friend. Her sister went missing, and she said there had also been some of your circus family missing. And oh, by the way, you might want to look out or check and see if you're missing a gorilla, because some gorilla-looking thing went running past, like coming this way. Just wanted to let you know.
Sam Trowell, PI. Ramona is talking the truth. Weedy over here, and I saw this thing, and in the library, and it looked like it ran your guys' way, and we were just trying to follow it to see what this was. Maybe warn you, but we're kind of also working a case here. Does the name Lydia? Is it Lydia?
Goss.
What?
Goss.
Does the name Lydia Goss ring a bell to you, my friend?
No.
How
Going
about
by that
Lucy
name.
Goss?
Can't say it rings a bell.
Okay, we're gonna go home now.
Well, are any of your people missing?
We've had a few people, a few losses.
Doesn't that worry you?
We know who did it.
Well, cool, because maybe that person took Lucy.
Who's Lucy?
Lucy's Lydia's sister. Remember, I said that like 5 minutes ago. Lucy's missing. And Lydia said she also heard that some circus people are missing. Like, keep up.
Yeah. We've had some of our workers have some trouble.
But what sort of trouble, my friend? And notice we're on the same team. You're missing people, we're missing people. We should be sharing whatever it is that we know.
And there's a monster.
Yeah, what she said.
So, you can try to get information out of him.
Okay.
Right. And so it's a matter of, are you going to reason with him? You would do eyes. If you're going to intimidate him, you'll use heart. And again, this is where potentially helping each other can potentially help in that kind of thing if you think it's worth it.
Right. Okay.
So you've laid out, Ramona has laid out the logic behind things, as has Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure that Peter may have things to add to this too with his knowledge of the books. So who wants to be the chief making the roll on this one? And do folks want to help?
Oh, Ramona.
Ramona. So Ramona, you probably the way you're appealing to him is really logic and eyes. So we would be looking at an eyes roll.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, I would say, although previously I said probably not, you could probably, use info from your notepad in a way to, work with him and trying to convince him to reveal info to you. You would know things that others don't. Useless, but still things that people don't know. And then if Peter or Sam wanted to help you, they could take a burn to eyes, and then you would get half of their eyes rounded down to your target number.
I'm going to take a burn also, because I think what Sam's going to be helping her with is, he's inept, but he's still a PI, and he does have a way with telling if people are telling the truth or not.
Yeah.
So he'll kind of be watching his poker face, and if he feels he's not giving information or avoiding it, he'll kind of give Ramona a nod or a push, to let her know that's true or not.
So with the notepad and your help, that brings her to a target number of 13. And Peter, I didn't know if you wanted to help in some way.
I think Peter will try to help. He'll be more of in a supportive role.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, he's the a bolsterer, right? Like, mister, Ramona here, she knows what she's talking about, that kind of bolstering.
Sure.
And playing
so
up.
If you take a burn to eyes.
Okay. So I'm taking a burn of 2.
A burn of 1.
Burn of 1. Okay.
Burn of 1. And then that would add +4 to Ramona. So what I get now for Ramona, you have a target number of 17. Eyes of 17. And you just have to tell me how many die you want. Obviously, it's at least 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
But how much info do you want to get out of this guy? How do you want to, modify this roll?
I'm also gonna burn. I'm gonna burn.
Well, first, how hard do you want this to be? Do you want to be a 4d6 roll, a 5d6 roll?
A 4.
A 4. Okay.
Yes.
A 4d6 roll, and your number is a 17.
Okay. Is that with my burn?
You haven't taken burn yet. Your target number is 17. It's a 4d6 roll.
Okay.
You're going to take one burn?
Yep.
All right. So 17, 3d6. You should be able to do it.
Oh, there is a one way I can fail, isn't there? Yes, there is.
And if she can fail, she will.
I rolled 3, 3 and 2.
Nice, nice. So you easily make it, and so he looks at you, finally trusting you, says, "Listen, this all has to do with the trade." And he points to the opium tent, and he says, "Someone was trying to cut in on our action, and they sent some big goon after our guys, and 3 of them got nicked, and we think we've straightened this out. Well, we think we know who did it, and we've made an arrangement, and as long as we think that, as long as we keep paying, then there won't be any more trouble. So you don't have to worry about it. No one from the circus is going to go disappearing again."
Well, but someone else outside the circus is also gone missing. So who is this person? Because they may have taken Lucy.
Well, I'm not going to say it, but could be your next mayor.
Dun, dun,
Really?
dun.
So are you saying that John wannabe Mayor Whitaker?
Quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're saying that John, I'm going to be the next mayor of Harbortown, is involved in illicit substances?
Well, he's the one who got us trading in opium. He's the one who set it up.
So you're working for him?
We've been working for him all along.
Oh,
he just wanted he just wanted more of the cash. I guess he's got it now.
So you think it was him? Yeah.
Him? I know it is him.
So he might have taken Lucy, because there used to be a thing. Yeah, that's not important right now. But that's very interesting. But that still doesn't explain the monster. You sure you're not missing a gorilla? Because
we're not missing a gorilla.
Well, there's a monster out there, and it is nearby here, because it was running this way. What do you think, Sam?
I think we may have nailed it on the head. What we need to do is we need to find Whitaker, get some answers, and I think when we do so, we just might be able to find Lucy.
Yeah.
So
okay, that solves the missing Lucy.
Right.
This guy seems okay with some of his folks missing, but that still doesn't explain the monster.
You know what? It
What do you think there was something in that hooch we were drinking? Maybe there wasn't a monster.
That was the most watered down Manhattan I've ever had in my life. I don't think it was the hooch, but this whole talk of golems and creatures that PD was talking about in that books.
Yeah, where are those books at in the library? Is that like in the fiction section? What is that?
I you know what? I don't go to libraries. Reading hurts my brain. But it definitely seems like what we need to find Whitaker.
And Lucy.
I've got an idea. Hey, I'll go to the circus guy. Are you able to get a hold of Whitaker? Do you have his number or something that, what I'd like to do is see if we might be able to call him, say that there's something wrong and that he needs to meet with you. and then you can wash your hands of the situation and let us handle the rest.
I'm not messing with Whitaker. If
Well,
you got a beef with him, you go to him. Everyone knows where he lives.
Right. Right, Lucy?
And you know where he lives,
Yeah.
detective.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll
He,
say
he actually lives in a mansion,
right.
only a block from the Continental Hotel.
Right. So, you know what? He's holed up at that large palace type mansion that no one seems to be coming and going from. So maybe we need to get a cab ride and make our way back to Whitaker's place and see if we can just twist his arm a little bit to give us some answers. What do you think? Petey, you in for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you. For the information, and if you ever need any PI work, you got a pen because I'm missing a card. I'll write my number down on your hand.
I'm sorry.
So I think we should hightail it to Whitaker's and demand answers.
Well, do you think he's home? How much time has passed? Is the reunion still going on?
And by this point, it's probably about midnight, 1 a.m, something like that.
Well, I mean, it's near the Continental. If he's not, if he's not home, we'll make our way back to the Continental. But considering what went down in that area, more than likely things might have been shut down. So I don't know. Well, we'll try his place first, and if it seems like there's no life, we'll check the Continental. What do you think? All right.
Yeah. I'm going to look at all the faces.
And, out on Harbor Ave, you can easily, after a time, a cabbie comes by, you can get in a cab and make your way towards Whitaker's place.
Right.
And when you get to Whitaker's, it is an urban mansion, right? Mm-hmm. It's got a wrought iron picket gate. The whole place is made of marble, beautiful looking manse that he lives in. There are no lights on that you can tell within the mansion.
What do you think, Sam?
I don't know. I think maybe we should just let ourselves in. Maybe there's a window that's unlocked or a door that was left open, but kind of have a feeling that something might be in there that could help us out. And don't worry about it. I do this kind of stuff all the time. So yeah, let's see if we can find a way into this place.
Okay, following you.
I'm trusting you. I don't know that I feel really good about this.
What could go wrong?
What's your approach, Sam? What's your approach?
So my approach is I'm just gonna kind of walk the perimeter. You said that there's a gate, but mm-hmm. Places like these tend to have a service entrance, something like that.
Sure. Yeah. Smaller door. Yeah. Around the side.
So,
yeah.
Right. So trying to find a way, to that. And then, off the street.
Yeah. You find the, and it's pretty accessible right onto the street because that's what service entrances are. Right. So you find it. Yeah.
All right.
A normal sized door on the side. Yeah.
All right. So gonna try the door first.
The door is locked.
All right. Hey, Ramona.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, but do you happen to have a hairpin or two?
Sure. Here.
And then I'm gonna try to pick the lock if I can.
Well, yeah, you sure can. As a PI, I imagine this is within your skill set as a PI. So to do this is going to be an eyes roll.
Okay.
To pick this lock, to try to get the tumblers just right. But this is a simple a 2d6 eyes roll, you know.
Right. Okay.
We're in trusting times.
Right. So I'm still going to burn one because
Yeah.
I don't want to take any chances this time. I want to get into this place.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Let's see it.
It's going to be a 5.
Yeah. So you do it and you click and the door pushes in.
Okay. All right. So I think it goes without saying, let's try to keep it stealthy as we're going in here. We don't know what's inside or who's home, but let's see what we can find.
And you're kind of in on this base level. The stairs actually went up to the first level. When you come in on the essentially this service entrance, it's really the basement. It's the lower level of the house. And down here, as you walk in, this is kind of where the service kitchen is, where they make stuff, where storage is, that kind of thing. And as you walk into the home, you glance into these areas, and you do, and there's light coming in from the windows. So there's no light on or lit, but you can see. There is a table in the prep area that you walk into that's just off of this. And there's a body on the table with a sheet over it.
Jumping Jiminy.
Is that what I think it is?
Oh, I don't know, but hold up, and I will walk over and kind of peel back the sheet and see what's underneath it.
It is your classmate, Lucy Goss.
And I immediately, like, that mint julep literally just evacuates my mouth. Just all over the floor.
All right.
Do you do anything? Do you do anything else while you're around the body, or?
Yeah, PI mode's going to kick in, and I'm going to kind of see if I can figure out what happened, like how.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you peel back the sheet.
Yeah. So is there bullet wound? Is she cut? What? Any sort of trauma or anything?
So she is totally pale white, right? She has nothing on under the sheet, but she has strange markings all over her body. Her body is absolutely cold to the touch.
I don't know what happened to her, but she's Petey. Do you make anything about these markings?
Hold on. Ugh. Oh, that mint julep doesn't taste better the second time.
Welcome to my every morning.
I will I'll go over and kind of look at the body squeamishly, and do the markings make heads or tails to me?
Yeah, they're markings that you saw inside that book.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull out my pistol.
What are you gonna do with that?
Well, hey, we're in the den of a bad person. This is there's a dead body here with strange markings on it. That was just this man just know that something just doesn't add up, and I'm still trying to figure this out. But we know that he's to blame. The proof is right here. We need
what
to.
Are you gonna do? You gonna arrest him? You gonna kill him?
It's hey.
And
if there's
Remote gonna take away his phone.
And just at this moment, another person comes into the room, and you hear this woman's voice scream loud, and it is Lydia, who followed you in here, and she's like, "No, Lucy," and she's just absolutely inconsolable, seeing her sister dead on the table.
Lydia,
Ramona will just run over and grab her.
Yeah. Shh, you need to keep it down. We're not supposed to be in here.
Yeah. And just as Lydia kind of quiets down and is sobbing with Ramona, you hear kind of upstairs, you hear a footfall, loud ones.
We need to call the police. We need to get the police here.
If we go and call the police, they're gonna hide it. They're gonna cover it up.
Petey can stay here.
Good point.
I don't want to stay here.
He's small. They may not notice him. Yeah.
Or maybe we could tell them that we call the police, or we talk to the police, and they're gonna be here, and you have that thing, that shooty thing. Yeah.
Right.
And Lydia at that moment goes, "Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to kill him." And she bolts and heads for the stairs to go upstairs. She just bolts away.
I'll kind of grab Pete. Say, Pete, we got to stop her. Let's go.
Okay.
So
I start running after Sam.
Yeah. Oh, I run after her. Hopefully Pete
Ramona!
comes with me.
Ramona?
Well, I'm not going to stay here by myself. No.
I'm going to stay here with the red dead body.
Right.
So you guys all run after Lydia, and she runs up to the first level, hooks the stairs, and keeps going, running up to it seems like she's been here before. She runs right up to the second level, and you're right behind her as she pushes open these doors, and it's kind of a master bedroom. And right in front of her is the golem. And behind the golem is John Whitaker. And he sees Lydia. He hasn't seen you yet. And he goes, I was wondering who was downstairs. That was you screaming. And he starts laughing. And he says, well, this is ironic. And he says to the golem, he says, you, and he says some foreign words, kill her. And, as you're running up, you see now the golem moving forward with its arms out to get Lydia.
This isn't going to end well.
And Lydia, at this moment, facing this horror of this golem, she stops her run forward, and she's kind of taken aback, and she kind of falls backwards on her back. She's obviously failed her soul roll. No. and she is petrified now on the ground on her back, like arms up in defensive kind of position.
All right.
Now, what do you all plan to do as you're running up these stairs towards this absolute horror? And by the way, definitely, Pete, you notice that this body you saw downstairs is definitely in your mind, and you notice that those same symbols are carved into this golem.
Can Pete make the connection between the body, the golem, the book, and the ritual in the book in terms of ceasing stopping the golem from being animated?
Yeah, you can try that. I would say to figure out all that arcane knowledge, you are a librarian, okay. But that is going to be, I'm gonna kill you on this. This is a killer 66 roll.
Yuck.
To figure all this out.
Okay.
To put it all together. And
that eyes.
So you have a 9 eyes plus your encyclopedia will give you a 10. Okay. So you have a 6d6 against a 9.
I'm I've already burned one.
Yep.
I'm gonna burn 5.
Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
And you have a 1d6 roll. And the reason why you want to roll it, of course, if you get a 6, you get your surge back.
Right.
So you know you're going to succeed.
I rolled a 3. Yeah.
You rolled a 3. So you succeed, and it all comes together in your head. The symbols are the same. The rituals talked about a transference, and now it makes sense to you. You think that Lucy's soul is what's animating the golem.
Right. Okay.
And you also remember from reading the book that the way to stop the golem is to kill its creator.
Yeah. As I am running up the stairs behind Sam, so I imagine Sam's right in front of me.
Yep.
I'm right behind him, and Ramona's right behind me. And I make this connection. I have this epiphany, and then as soon as I have this epiphany, I'm like,
Sam, kill John. It's the only way. Kill John.
Right. But as I reach the top of the stairs, I see Lydia's in peril. Right.
I said kill John.
You see Lydia's in peril, and Sam, this thing is still in front of you, and you're going to need to overcome a 5d6 soul roll, or you're going to make a run for it.
Right. Okay. 5d6.
Are you distracted?
Burn, baby, burn.
Yep. All right. So here we go. 4 soul.
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a 1d6.
Ramona, he's going to distract it for us.
All right, so that's a 1.
A 1. So you are essentially from this point, you steal up. You are immune to the fear effect from this golem. You recognize what you have to do. You have to defend this woman,
right?
And you are all business.
Right. So I here's what I'd like to do with Keith's permission. I've got my gun out, and I'm going to say, Pete, I've got to save Lydia. It's on you, and I'm going to hand you my gun. And
I don't know.
I'm going to rush forward and pull Lydia to safety.
Okay. All right, great. And to do that, it's going to be a move roll. You're right there. You survived your soul roll. It's going to be just a simple 3d6 roll move to get there and to get Lydia out of the way.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to burn 2 because I want this to happen. Yep. Keith, you okay with that? Because I don't mean to put you in the
no,
light.
I'm good with it. Okay. I got an idea.
All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a 4. Okay.
So you make it. And so you're able to grab Lydia, you scoop her up, and you're able to get her, down the hall on the same level, whatever, just as this monster sweeps down its hands in fists just to mash Lydia, and you stop him from mashing her.
Right.
So let's see. So Ramona, you're bringing up the back of the stairs. You see all this going on. What are you going to do? You see Sam now holding a gun, Peter. Petey's holding a gun.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
I'm just like shaking. It's like going wild in my hand.
What's Whitaker doing?
Whitaker is behind the golem about 10 feet, arms crossed, just smiling. He sees the end of all of you in front of him, and he's not worried at all. And as you both come up the stairs, so Petey, this thing turns its eyes to you, and you're going to also have to survive a 5d6 roll, or you're going to be in fear.
Oh no!
Yeah.
5d6 eyes or soul.
Yeah, soul.
Is this just for the scene, or am I going to have to keep making this?
No, this is for the scene. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to burn 4 then.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's hoping.
I rolled a 1.
Yeah. So you're good. And you are finally, you grit up and you go, you can't destroy books. No.
Books are my magic.
And the gun in my hand, the shaking starts to abate down to a bare minimum of like a tremor, not an earthquake.
All right.
my privileges revoked.
And now Ramona, you're coming up behind it. And same thing. This gargantuan monster is up there.
Take the gun from my hand. Take the
What
gun
do you
from my
intend to
hand.
do?
Are you saying that?
Yes, I'm like, take the gun from me. Take it.
Okay.
But you got to pass your roll first.
Yeah,
Right.
you gotta. So
Well,
it's a 5d6 soul roll because this thing is frightening.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, we are not afraid to burn things, and I will burn 4 because that's how I roll.
Nice.
That's a 5.
So,
Oof.
you tied, which is a partial success. So, what happens is you get up there, and for a moment, I mean, your heart literally stops in your chest. And all it means is the complication here is you're going to be frozen in place essentially for a round trying to recover yourself to get going. So let's go back to Sam, or sorry, to Pete, and then we'll go to Sam and then back to Ramona.
Okay.
So Pete, what's going on? You got the gun, you got this golem in front of you, and you got Whitaker behind it.
I am now that I've steeled my nerves for the most part against this thing, and I know what needs to happen, and I don't like it. This is not anything Pete ever thought he'd have to do or be involved in. He just wanted to be around musty old paper all his life. You know, most likely to succeed at being a nerd for the remainder of his life was what he was voted for in the class of 1916. But he is going to try to find some inner strength and try to slip past this thing and do something against John Whitaker.
Okay.
If he has the the testicular fortitude to squeeze the trigger, then so be it. Or
so you're gonna shoot past the golem and right at Whitaker.
Or if I can physically position myself near the golem to make the shot, or
now it's
past
gonna be
the golem, whatever it takes.
Right. So it's gonna be a 3d6 eyes roll to hit Whitaker.
Okay.
Now here's where you can tell me also.
Okay.
You want to magnify the effect. You could tell me, no, I don't want it to be 3d6. I want it to be 4d6. And that's probably about it, is with the eyes you have left, that's probably all you could do.
Yeah.
Because with the mechanics of the game, knowing where we are in it, to be honest with you, I would burn your eye stat. I would burn it.
Yeah. Yeah, let's bump it to 4d6, and then I'm gonna burn it down to
you'll take 9 burn. 9 is equal to 9. Now on this roll, there's no penalty. There's not it would be your next roll after this where you would get a d6 penalty.
Cool. So this puts me rolling. So 4d6.
So you're rolling a
1d6.
1d6. Yeah.
Because I burned my last 3.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 4.
And you rolled a 4. And so you take this one shot, and it's because you magnified it, this is not an arm wound. This is not anything else. You hit them square in the chest as if you were taught to aim for the torso.
Center mass, baby.
And Whitaker looks shocked and, grabs his chest as the blood seeps out and just drops down face first on the floor.
Nice.
And in that moment, as he dies, and sorry, Ramona, at this moment, you see in front of you this giant golem start melting.
The monster.
And the monster starts melting in front of you. And Lydia's like, what? I wanted to kill him. And it just melts down to nothing. And what's left on the ground is essentially mud.
I dropped the pistol.
Yeah.
More in shock than anything else. I drop the pistol. I look at the scene. Whitaker on the ground, bleeding out. The golem melted clay and, just liquefied and oozing and dribbling everywhere. I turn. I start to walk down the stairs, push my glasses up. My job is done here. And I just walk down the stairs.
And there is a front door right there that opens up onto the main front door.
And I get to the front door and I go to grab the door like I'm going to walk out like this grand exit. Mm-hmm. And I fumble with the door like I can't figure out how to open the door. Like it's just like I'm like a moron.
And just at that moment, you hear footsteps behind you.
Uh-oh.
And Ramona, as you turn around and look down the stairs, you see like this ghostly figure wrapped in a sheet walking towards the front door. And you hear her go, where am I? Lydia looks down and Lydia goes, Lucy, you're alive. And Lucy, Lydia breaks away from you, Sam, and runs down to her sister Lucy, and the breath of life has been returned to Lucy with the destruction of the golem.
Oh, she's alive. That's spectacular.
Now,
I'm still fumbling with the door.
Yeah.
Right.
So anything else you guys do in this crescendo of a moment?
Right.
Ramona fainted.
Yeah.
Ramona saw a ghost.
Ghost. I'm going to, after the celebratory hug is going on, and I'll go down. Pete,
what?
Get back here. Get back here. The door's locked, my friend. Whitaker's got the key. And I will go to Lucy and just say, Lucy, Sam Trow, PI, I believe I've pieced together what this happened, but before I reveal what it was, can you tell me what happened here?
And Lucy says, well, somehow John used the research that I didn't publish and created this thing. And he used me to do it in my body. And I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why, or for whatever reason. It's all about power.
I mean, power corrupts line entirely. I don't know.
Absolutely.
All right, absolutely. Yeah. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Thank you. So I mean, it makes sense. Men in positions like that, all they want is more and more and more, no matter what it takes. But at least he's not going to be running the city anymore. I believe we have done a good deed for the day. And Lydia, would you like me to write out an invoice now, or do you want me to mail it to you?
And Lydia and her sister are good to the word and certainly pay up. Lydia herself married a very rich man, so although she didn't reveal, has quite a bit of money and helps you out. which you'll need for the lawyers. Because, of course, the taxi cab driver can identify the three of you going into this place. And your gun was found at the scene, buried in some mud or something, because Petey dropped it. And and you, for a while, are the prime suspect in the murder of a mayoral candidate. Now, any of this stuff about golems and stuff never hits a newspaper. But, Lydia and Lucy actually puts on a nice act pretending to be your girlfriend and says you were with her the entire time, which is helpful because it's not entirely a lie. And, and out of that, although still the police captain and everyone are very suspicious of you that you did it, you claim your gun was stolen and that it was some madman. And eventually the circus comes up with a body and pins it on some dead workman in some way. And you think you probably now owe them a favor too. So you're in a little bit of hock with Bag Speckler and with the opium runners, but that's for another day.
Well, I'd like to say Peter, I should say, because you're a man now.
Well, thank you.
And Ramona, we make a pretty good team. But all things considered, maybe we should lay low in Harbor City for a while. But just so happens I've got another job. There's this gentleman goes by the name of Belloc, and he's hired me and other people to go out and find this thing called an ark. You think you can give me a hand with that?
But I have a job with Ma Bell.
Oh, trust me.
I work in the library.
Fine. You know what? Maybe another day.
Well,
maybe. All right.
Well, thanks for playing. And if we were to go further,
right,
what you would all do now is you would add up the total number of burn that you took. And you can take burn to equipment. No one did it this time, but you can take burn to equipment. And you add up your total burn, divide by 3. That's the number of build points you get. In addition, we have our friend Peter, Keith, who burned a stat. And for burning a stat, Keith would get a bonus of 2 build points.
Oh, very cool.
So now, on top of the division, 2 additional points for burning that stat.
So do the burns wipe themselves clean then from scenario to scenario?
They do not. So
okay.
In the next scenario, what would happen is you basically have downtime, and you we've changed it a couple of times to make sure it's balanced. So I got to look in the rule book again, but it's a number of 2D. I believe it's 2d6 plus 3,
right?
Or plus 6. I gotta look again in the rules. That's horrible that I'm the runner and I haven't done it. But anyway, and that's the number that you recover during the downtime. Now, if you don't recover enough, you can spend a build point to roll additional dice to recover more burn. So that's another way you can spend build points so you can fully recover. Cool. And that's why if you look on the character sheets, there's an old burn section.
Yep.
Because any burn you took from a previous adventure, you can't count again, right? It still counts against your total. So if you didn't recover all your burn, you would move burn into the old burn column, and then it would still affect you in the next adventure, but you wouldn't count it again as accruing for build points. So
okay,
yeah,
very cool.
So that's it.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Kev. This was a lot of fun. I do appreciate you taking the time to kind of run us through the game, and give us an idea of how it works. Sorry, at least on my behalf that I'm, a little bit slow in getting it, but I think I've got a good, clear idea on how it works. So this was excellent.
And the adventure seeds, I'll reveal them to you. They were I rolled hotel, easy, missing person, and golem.
Oh, wow! And it just allowed us to kind of, you filled in some of the blanks and allow us to kind of collaborate to build it out. That was fantastic. Yeah. So I know we ran a little bit long, and I know Keith and Roz, and it's getting a little late in there. But before we close, do either one of you any questions or comments on the game before we call it a night here?
Roz, do you have any questions?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay.
I think the only one I have that listeners may be interested in is just kind of in the grand scheme of things, since we didn't open this segment with, talking about the game in general, is
right.
I get the mechanics and all of that, but what inspired you to kind of build this game? Because I enjoyed the daylights out of it. This was a lot of fun. I love that we kept it just under 3 hours, like 2 hours, 45 minutes, which was great. Makes a great con game.
Yeah, thanks. It's a great question. Definitely there was a moment of inspiration for it where, we were playing another game, and as a group we were saying, boy, I really wish we could have succeeded at that X thing that was so important to do. Wouldn't it have been great if we could have burned our stats, if we could have diminished our stats in some way to be able to succeed? And then I thought about that, and I said, well, with all the thoughts around, and this was a really crunchy game, but and then I said, well, what about a rules light game where the whole thing was based on burning your stat, but doing it in a way where it wasn't a death spiral, right? So if you have a 5 move, that's what you have, right? It doesn't become a 4 that becomes a 3, becomes a 2, 1. That'd be so punishing, it wouldn't be fun, right? So just that mechanic of, can we balance against that? And then I drafted up a pamphlet game that I put on itch.io and played it quite a few times, and other people played it. And honestly, the mechanics behind it all gelled together so well, and it was so much fun that we said, well, we can really build this out and do things with the rules to make them a little more robust, like campaign play and that kind of thing. And it's just it's been a lot of fun to run for people. And it was that idea of what do we do if we want to do a pickup game, and what can we, because I end up running games a lot, what can I do to develop a game that doesn't require me to prepare for so much time ahead of a game? And I didn't prepare for this at all, right? I know the rules, obviously, for the most part. Yeah. And, so I prepared by just, when Scott took a quick break before we started, I rolled on the random generation chart, got that who, when, and where, and then everything else was just using the map of Harbor City and the setting, and just going with it. And I didn't know there was a secret dumbwaiter in the bar, and frankly, I didn't think ahead of time that you would end up in the library. It just so happened it was across the street from the hotel, and so you just go with it. And I know that's not everyone's style, but for, I think, people who like a more improv style of game where players are also adding their pieces into it, this style play allows, when I ask Roz, hey Roz, what do you want to happen here? It gives you the controls for a little while to say, well, this is what I'm trying to get out of this. This is the result. And I guess the more I play, the more I like that kind of collaborative play in doing it. So long answer to the question.
No. I mean, but but it's important. I mean, I think it's important. I'm sure listeners would like to know what inspired you to create the game.
Absolutely.
I think the only other question that I have, just on behalf of Titterpigs and listeners, is with your successful Kickstarter and delivery of the completed book is projected for June.
That's right.
Thereabouts, sometime in June.
Yeah, end of June. Yeah.
Okay, so where can once it delivers to Kickstarter backers, where can listeners find it?
Yeah, they'll be able to find it on DriveThruRPG, and just look for Burn 2D6, and you can find it right there. It'll pop right up. So by the end of June, the PDF will be up there, and you'll be able to get it as a PDF or a printed book. And as I've gone through it, of course, the pages got bigger and bigger. So I'm actually going to produce it. I know I promised backers a soft cover. I'm actually going to produce it as a hardcover. So folks who pledge will get the bonus of getting a hardcover for nothing. It just makes sense with the number of pages to do it that way. So,
Nice.
yeah. So,
Very cool.
so it's been a lot of fun making, and I hope folks use it and play it and bend it to whatever type of game they want to play.
I think they will, because I mean, there's a lot of people who have asked me, after the Kickstarter, when can I get a hold of this? Because it has sparked their interest, after the fact, and there's a momentum of attention that continues to grow. At least, from who I've spoke with, that are definitely going to be looking forward to that coming available, to them directly after the Kickstarter fulfills. So yeah, I think one thing I just want to add is not really a question real quick, but just more of a comment, a compliment, I should say, is, the one thing that I really liked about, the Burn 2D6 now that I played it is, I mean, the fact that you have these different genres that you have. And just for the listeners at home, the different genres that you provide are tailored differently for each one. It's not just a car wrap over your system, but this being kind of what it is, a pulpy type thing. I'm a gigantic fan of pulp type style games, and for pulp style games to give you that feel, it does need to have some sort of functioning luck or burn or some sort of mechanic to give you that cinematic, failing forward heroic style of these movies and stories. And Burn 2D6 really provided that to me. And also the fact that, like you said, it can be a game that you can just do on the fly. But if you're less of an improvisational one, as you stated, you do give them a foundation to where they can actually use the generation to, further create from that point and have a large amount of preparation, but it still allows for the in-game to, be collaborative between the players and what you've done, and you can modify it on the fly as you go. So,
Sure.
A round of applause from me. This was fantastic. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Well, I hope you all had a good time. And,
Yes.
If you have any feedback that you don't want your listeners to hear, you can always tell me. I'm happy to hear it.
No, I loved it. So
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Well, you're a great group of players, so anytime.
Right. We will be putting a link to all of Kevin's information in the description, so definitely check that out. But Kevin, if I know some people don't check it, what's the best way to find you before we call it a night?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SaltHeartRPG. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Excellent.
Perfect.
All right. Well, and we didn't introduce her, but a big thank you to Roz for joining us again for another actual play. You are we should put an extra T in Titterpigs for Roz. I know that makes no sense, but whatever. Or an extra R at the end. There we go. Titterpigs. So thank you, Roz. We appreciate you coming out and joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
All right.
Right.
Well-
Keith, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I think with that, again, Kevin, thank you for running the game for us. Roz, thanks for joining us again on the show and playing. And with that, we're going to roll on out of here.
Take care, everyone.